say that it was his intuition. Otherwise, Zhang Minjing would not be willing to bet her money on Zhou Hao's intuition. Comparatively speaking, they trusted scientific analysis. In fact, even though Zhou Hao had transferred most of his funds to Southeast Asia, he still kept a portion of his funds in Hong Kong's stock market. And it was the futures market, because the profits from the futures market were much higher than normal stock transactions. As for the high risk of the futures market compared to ordinary shares, it could be completely ignored by Zhou Hao. According to the development, the stock market in Hong Kong had risen by a lot before August. Just in July alone, the Hang Seng Index had risen by 11 times. Until George Soros and Julian Robeson and the others reached out their hands to Hong Kong's stock market before it ended. Zhang Minjing still chose to believe Zhou Hao. She planned to let go of the stocks in her hands in the middle of July. Zhou Hao then talked about the financial markets of various countries with Hai Qixuan and found that this seemingly ordinary housewife's understanding of the financial market had reached the master level. Even though her theoretical knowledge was not rich, her analytical ability of the financial market made Zhou Hao gasp in amazement. "Sister Sun, are you interested in working in our company? Just be our company's chief analysts. I'll give you 10 million years of salary and dividends. How about it?" After recognizing Hai Qixuan's financial ability, Zhou Hao immediately offered her an olive branch. Hai Qixuan shook her head and refused Zhou Hao without any hesitation. "It was better not to. These things are just my guesses. If I really have to use them to earn money, I won't be able to get used to it. The pressure is too great. I still like to cook and make friends. Besides, the money my husband left me is enough for me to use." Zhou Hao was a little disappointed when he heard that, but he did not want to force Hai Qixuan. Finally, after helping Hai Qixuan tidy up the bowls and chopsticks, Zhou Hao and the others were about to leave. Hai Qixuan sent them to the door. Zhou Hao suddenly turned around and asked her, "Sister Sun, have we met somewhere before? I keep feeling that you give me a sense of familiarity." "No, I've never seen you before." Hai Qixuan smiled and said, "Perhaps it was the heavens who arranged for us to meet, but we always brushed past each other, and only today did we truly get to know each other." Zhou Hao took a deep breath and smelled the fragrance of crabapple flowers on Hai Qixuan's body. He knew that a person's body fragrance was the most impressive, so he wanted to try it out. However, this was the first time Zhou Hao smelled this fragrance on Hai Qixuan's body. He knew that he had never seen Hai Qixuan before, otherwise he would definitely remember her fragrance. 3. Come up again if you have time. Hai Qixuan smiled at Zhou Hao. Of course, Zhou Hao also said. After coming out of the Yihai garden, Zhang Minjing and Zheng Bao Aijing said goodbye to Zhou Hao and left. Zhou Hao also went back to the villa with Su Lin. On the way, Su Lin said, "Sister Sun is really amazing. I think many financial experts are not as knowledgeable as her." Zhou Hao nodded in agreement. "I heard from Aunt Su Lin that Sister Sun used to be a graduate of the business school of the University of Swordbridge. She gets a scholarship every year. However, she married her husband after graduation, so she doesn't have much work experience. You said you wanted to hire Sister Sun to our company. Is that true?" Su Lin asked. "Of course it is. If she is willing to go to our company, then 10 million yuan of annual salary and dividends will definitely be worth it. It will be more than worth it." Zhou Hao said, "It's a pity that Sister Sun's ambition is not here. Otherwise, she might very well become a female stock god who is known both internally and externally." Su Lin suddenly laughed when she heard this. "Aunt Ai Jing was right just now. Sister Sun is also a teacher now, stock god." Zhou Hao shook his head. "Sister Sun does not look like a teacher who walks between families and markets. The aura she gives off. More like it. She's a very noble and kind emperor." He muttered to himself, "What a pity. She married someone so early in the morning. If only she was born 10 years later." Su Lin pouted. "So what if she was born 10 years later? Don't tell me you have the same thoughts about Sister Sun as Annie Ai Jing's friend, right? Don't forget. You have a girlfriend. You can't let Rulin down." I know. I was just joking. Do you need to take it so seriously?" Zhou Hao smiled bitterly. Late at night, at Hong Kong's Green Sunflower Torrent No. 5, a hanging arm was moving containers from the cargo ships docked at the port to the dock. In less than an hour, more than 10 containers on the cargo ships had been moved over. A worker wearing a yellow safety cap and dock uniform kept waving his hand and making gestures. At the same time, he shouted, "Hurry up! Hurry up!" Then, a few men who were obviously not dock workers were led by the worker to one of the containers. The worker opened the door of the container and shot the flashlight light into the container. He saw 2 brand new Mercedes-Benz cars inside. The few men walked into the container and opened the back door of the Mercedes-Benz in front of them. Then, they took out a spring knife and gently swiped on the leather chair in the back seat. Under the leather of the chair was not some sponge filling, but a bag of white powder. The man stretched out his little finger and picked up a little bit of white powder, then stuffed it into his nose and took a deep breath. "How is it? Is this thing pure enough?" Another man outside asked. The man who got into the car pushed him out again. He sniffed and then gave a thumbs up. "It's good stuff." After hearing that, they looked at each other and smiled brightly. One of them said, "Then hurry up and ship it to our warehouse. Boss is afraid of waiting too long." Just as they closed the door of the container, a loud alarm suddenly sounded from afar. More than 10 police cars with flashing red and blue lights appeared on both sides without any warning, blocking their way. They also heard someone shouting with a speaker, "We are the Royal Hong Kong Police. Don't move. Put down your weapons and surrender." The men's expressions changed drastically. One of them said in panic, "How? How could there be a police? What should we do? What should we do? Run. If we get caught, we won't have to come out for the rest of our lives." Another man shouted and quickly took out his pistol. He shot several times at the police car in front of him and ran to the left, trying to run into the path between the containers. However, he heard the policemen on both sides shout, "They have guns. Open fire. Attention, units. Open fire." Gunshots were fired continuously, and the fire flickered. The men on the other side were far inferior to the police in terms of numbers and equipment. In less than a minute, 3 of them were killed. Finally, the 2 of them threw away their pistols and raised their hands, shouting, "Surrender." After controlling them, the police escorted them to open more than 10 containers one by one. They found that there were all brand new Mercedes-Benz cars inside without exception. Under the instructions of the 2 surviving men, the police cut open the back seat of the cars and found that the leather chairs were filled with white powder. "Thank you, sir. It's heroin number 4. D*MN. If all of these were added together, it would probably weigh about 300 to 400 kilograms. A police officer who had cut open the back seat of the car shouted to the commander outside. His tone was both shocked and excited. Because they had solved such a large drug smuggling case, the police in charge of executing the case had made quite a bit of contribution. The commander, who was called Officer Sia, said, "All right, take them all away and bring them back to the police station. And those 2 suspects, keep a close eye on them." Thus, the heroine and those few men who came out from the back seat of the Mercedes-Benz were all taken away by the police. After some noise, Pier 5 regained its peace. On the other side, in a warehouse of a certain industrial building in Quan Wan, Fong Bingrun was sitting there with a roast goose leg in his hand. He was eating with relish. Beside him was a man in his 20s. The handsome and refined man was Mo Junxing. Fong Bingrun looked at his watch and said while chewing the meat in his mouth, "Why aren't they here yet? D*MN, these useless people. They are so sloppy when they are asked to do things." "Fat uncle, don't be angry. Have a cup of water." Mo Junxing handed Fong Bingrun a cup of soda. His tone was very gentle. Fong Bingrun smiled and said, Xing, you are still good to me." As he spoke, he even reached out and touched Mo Junxing's butt. "Uncle Fatty, don't be like this. Our brothers are still outside. It would be terrible if they saw us." Mo Junxing was embarrassed. "When we get home later, Uncle Fei, you can do whatever you want." Looking at Mo Junxing's charming appearance, Fong Bingrun really wanted to pounce on him. But Mo Junxing was right. His subordinates were still outside. If they found out about this, his head would be at its end. Suddenly, Fong Bingrun's phone rang. He was just about to go get it when he realized that he was holding the roast goose leg in one hand and the soda in the other. When Mo Junxing saw this, he immediately put his hand into his pocket and took out his phone. He even pressed the call button for him and whispered it into his ear. He was very considerate. Fong Bingrun looked at him with appreciation and then said to the phone, "It's me. What's wrong?" In less than 5 seconds, Fong Bingrun's face changed dramatically. His face turned pale, and a layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. At the same time, he roared, "What the hell did you say? All my goods were taken away by the police. F***CK. How is that possible? I've opened all the joints. It's impossible for the police to find out." He kept panting. His face was full of ferociousness. After a while, he said, "Those 2 people, immediately get someone to enter the police station to warn them. Tell them not to speak nonsense. Give them some security fees and let them bear the charges." "What? Not willing? So what if he's locked up for the rest of his life? From now on, he'll join our East Star." At that time, They should be prepared to sacrifice themselves for the society. After a pause, Fang Bingrun said with a gloomy expression, "All right, you won't do it, right? Then find a chance to kill both of them. Otherwise, they won't be the sons of B** cheese for me to get out. All right, that's it." After hanging up the phone, Fang Bingruan's chest was still heaving up and down violently. Imo Zhenxing, who was beside him, hurriedly helped him put his hand on his chest and asked with concern, "Uncle Fatty, what's wrong? Is there a problem with our goods?" "Yeah, I don't know why the F***king police found out. Now, those goods have been taken away by the police." F***. Fang Bingrun was so angry that he threw the roast goose leg and soda on the ground. Imo Zhenxing frowned and said, "But it's impossible. Our matter this time is so secretive. The cargo ship company and the dock are connected. Logically speaking, the police would not find out. Unless our society has a 25th, Fang Bingrun said with a fierce look on his face. "This time, only you and me and your men know about it. Go and check if there are any problems with them. If there really is a B** starred among them, bring him to me. I'm going to F***king kill him myself." "Got it, I'll go now." Imo Zhenxing nodded and immediately stood up to carry out Fang Bingruan's order. Fang Bingrun was the only one left in the spacious warehouse. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He suddenly stood up from the sofa and kicked the cardboard boxes around him. He kept shouting, "F***you! F***you mother!" Fang Bingrun stayed in the warehouse until 5 o'clock in the morning, but there was still no news from Imo Zhenxing. Suddenly, Fang Bingruan's phone rang again. He immediately picked it up and put it beside his ear. "Hello, is it Xing? Godfather. It's me, Lian Hu." Xiao Lianhu's voice came through the phone. "Why are you calling me so late at night?" Fang Bingrun sounded a little impatient. 3. Xiao Lianhu said on the phone, "Godfather, I have something important to tell you." "What is important? If it is not urgent, you can call me later." "I am busy." Fang Bingrun was afraid that Imo Zhenxing would call at this time, and Xiao Lianhu would take over the line. So he wanted to hang up the phone after saying that. Xiao Lianhu hurriedly said, "Godfather, this matter is very important. It's about Imo Zhenxing." After hearing Xiao Lianhu's last sentence, Fang Bingrun stopped the thought of hanging up. He couldn't help but ask, "Xing?" "Yes, Godfather." Xiao Lianhu said in a deep voice, "I suspect that Imo Zhenxing is a spy that the police have inserted into our society." "Impossible." Fang Bingrun immediately said, "This is absolutely impossible. Godfather, can you come over now?" Xiao Lianhu said, "This matter is too important. I also need to confirm it. Come over here." Regardless of whether Imo Zhenxing is a spy or not, you can feel at ease. After weighing the pros and cons, Fang Bingrun gritted his teeth and said, "All right, I'll come over now. But don't blame me for not warning you in advance, Lianhu. Although you are my godson, if I find out that you deliberately framed Xing in order to get rid of him, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Godfather, everything I did was for the sake of Godfather's good relationship with the club. There's no personal relationship involved." Xiao Lianhu said. Therefore, Fang Bingrun came to Xiao Lianhu's side in a car with a few of his subordinates. At this moment, Xiao Lianhu was in a large outdoor stall. When he saw Fang Bingruan's car, he immediately stood up to greet him. He personally opened the door for Fang Bingrun. "Godfather, I'm really sorry to have you come so late at night, but this matter is too big, we can't delay it." All right, cut the crap." Fang Bingrun waved his hand. "You said Xing is a spy of the police. What evidence do you have?" "The evidence is there." Xiao Lianhu turned to look at a residential building not far away. "Godfather, come with me. You will know soon." After saying that, he walked out of the stall towards the residential building. Fang Bingrun thought for a while and followed Xiao Lianhu with a few subordinates. This building is called Golden Garden, which is also considered a noble residential area where most of the owners are middle class. Xiao Lianhu brought Fang Bingrun and his 4 subordinates into Golden Garden. When they arrived at the lobby on the first floor, they did not see any security guards. It seemed like they had changed shifts. Xiao Lianhu and Fang Bingrun also took the opportunity to quickly enter the elevator. Xiao Lianhu pressed the button on the 16th floor. In the elevator, Fang Bingrun frowned and asked Xiao Lianhu, "What is this place? Why did you bring me here?" "There is a senior inspector called Xierufa living here." Xiao Lianhu said. "Xierufa? That's Xie too?" Fang Bingrun asked in surprise. He knew that Xierufa was the commander of Team 2. Since he had no mercy when dealing with criminals from the underworld, he had a nickname Xie. However, Fang Bingrun did not understand why Xiao Lianhu brought him here. Why did you bring me here to Xie Shishir? Xiao Lianhu said, just 2 days ago, one of my men saw Mo Zhenxing and Xie Rufa meeting on the rooftop of the Hong Kong Trade Center. So I suspect that Mo Zhenxing might be a spy sent by Xie Rufa to our club. Fang Bingrun was shocked when he heard that. He did not want to believe Xiao Lianhu's words. However, since he had already come here, he might as well go and confirm it. At this time, the elevator arrived at the 16th floor. Xiao Lianhu, Fang Bingrun, and the others came to the front door of Unit B on the 16th floor. Xiao Lianhu said, Xie Rufa just came back from the police station. It seems that he has been working all night. I just don't know what big case he is working on. Hearing Xiao Lianhu's words, Fang Bingrun immediately thought of how his heroin had been found by the police. According to the number of drugs in this batch, if it was made public, it would definitely cause a stir in the entire Hong Kong. As he was thinking, Xiao Lianhu raised his hand and pressed the doorbell. After a long while, a young woman in her 30s came out to open the door. She only opened the wooden door inside, not the iron door outside. As her husband was a policeman, she was very alert. When she saw Xiao Lianhu and a few aggressive men outside the door, she subconsciously wanted to close the door. However, she saw that Xiao Lianhu had already taken out his gun faster than her and was aiming at her head. She heard Xiao Lianhu lightly shout, "Open the door!" Being pointed at by the gun and being threatened with her life, the young woman had no choice but to obediently open the door. Go in. After the iron door opened, Xiao Lianhu pushed the young woman and followed Fang Bingrun in. The room was very spacious and comfortable. Xie Rufa, who was coming out of the bathroom and wiping the water droplets on his hair with a towel, suddenly saw Xiao Lianhu and the other men. His wife was also pointed at by Xiao Lianhu with a gun. He was also shocked and immediately stretched his hand to the cabinet next to him, wanting to take the gun that he had placed on it. Don't move. Xiao Lianhu turned the gun to Xie Rufa, and his wife was held hostage by Fang Bingrun's men. Xie Rufa was a man in his mid-30s. He had a square face, and his face was full of righteousness. One look, and you could tell that he was a man of integrity. He slowly retracted his hand and raised it slightly, but his eyes were fixed on Xiao Lianhu and Fang Bingrun. Fang Bingrun, Xiao Lianhu, do you know how serious the crime of trespassing and kidnapping police officers is? As a member of the O, Xie Rufa naturally knew very well about people like Fang Bingrun and Xiao Lianhu, who were famous in the underworld. He heard Fang Bingrun reveal a smile. Xie Shishir, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean to hold you guys hostage. This time, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. What questions? You're a gangster, and I'm a police officer. We have nothing to talk about. Xie Rufa said coldly. One of Fang Bingrun's men went over and took Xie Rufa's gun. Xiao Lianhu put the gun on Xie Rufa's wife's head. He sneered at Xie Rufa. Officer Xie, I think this is good. We'll ask you a question. If you answer incorrectly, we'll take off a piece of your wife's clothes. He moved the gun to the young woman's chest and even slightly poked her collar a few times. I see that your wife, plus her bra and underwear, only has 4 or 5 pieces of clothing at most. Hee hee, our brothers really like a wife. Xie Rufa's wife trembled in fear, but she still pursed her lips stubbornly and did not say a word. Don't mess around. Xie Rufa forced his wife to fall into his hands, so he had no choice but to submit. All right, you can ask. Fang Bingrun said coldly. Tell me everything about Mo Zhenxing, and don't lie to me. Xie Rufa's expression changed when he heard Fang Bingrun mention Mo Zhenxing's name. When Fang Bingrun caught sight of his subtle reaction, his heart shook. He secretly thought that there was something wrong with Mo Zhenxing. Isn't Mo Zhenxing a member of the E-Star? Aren't he and Xiao Lianhu your right and left arms? You don't even know him, yet you still want to ask me? Xie Rufa said with a cold smile. I told you. Don't King lie to me. Fang Bingrun gritted his teeth and said. Then he grabbed Xie Rufa's wife's collar and pulled her clothes off, revealing only her white bra. Xie Rufa's wife cried out in surprise and quickly reached out to cover her chest. Fang Bingrun grabbed her hair and raised her head. Xie Shirtu, if you dare to say a word half-heartedly to me, I will rape your wife in front of you. You dare. Xie Ru was so angry that her hair stood on end. See if I dare or not. As Fang Bingrun spoke, he stretched his hand towards Xie Rufa's wife's pants. Xie Rufa quickly raised his hand and said, All right, I'll speak. I'll speak. After that, he gasped for breath, gritted his teeth, and stared at Fang Bingrun. It was only after a long while that he spoke again. Mo Zhenxing is a spy of our police force. After he finished speaking, his shoulders drooped down, and he looked a lot more dispirited. When Fong Bingrun heard Xia Rufa's words, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and his entire body trembled. He joined your East Star since he was 18 years old, and he hasn't even entered our police academy, so no one will suspect him, Xia Rufa said. Other than me, only Chen Shuhua, the chief police officer in charge of our organized crime cases and the Triad Investigation Department, knows his identity? Impossible. How is this possible? Fong Bingrun pointed at Xia Rufa and shouted, "You lied to me. Under my command, he can earn tens of millions a year. Every time I go in and out, there will be little brothers who will call for me. In the East Star, besides me, the one who can talk the most is him. What else does he have to be dissatisfied with? How can he be a spy?" In Fong Bingruan's view, as a spy of the police, the salary he received was at most a little more than that of an ordinary police officer. He also had to face the risk of being exposed at all times. Currently, Imo Jinxing was above tens of thousands of people in the East Star. The money he earned every year was much more than that of the police chief. There was no need for him to be a spy at all. "There is a file on the security of my room," Xia Rufa said. "Hurry up and take it out." Fong Bingrun roared again. So, Xia Rufa opened the safe in Fong Bingruan's room and took out a file. When Fong Bingrun took the file, he saw a bright red secret printed on the file bag. Fong Bingrun impatiently opened the file bag and took out the information inside. The first thing he saw was a picture of Imo Junxing. However, the name on the file wasn't Imo Junxing, but Nai Yongxiao. When he saw the name Nai Yongxiao, Fong Bingrun was shocked once again. His narrowed eyes widened. 3. He raised his head to look at Xia Rufa. His throat felt a little sore as he said, This Nai Yongxiao. He looked at Fong Bingrun. That expression of disbelief. Xia Rufa nodded slightly. "I think you should remember him as well. He is Nai Yongxiao, also known as Nai Kuan's son. Do you understand now? Back then, he took the initiative to look for us and said that he wanted to be our spy to investigate you. Now you finally understand why he would do that. Even if you give him 100 million a year, he will still deal with you." How could he be Nai Yongxiao? How could it be Nai Yongxiao? Fong Bingrun was still talking to himself. He has already followed me. How could he be Nai Yongxiao? Xia Rufa sneered. "More than 10 years ago, you killed Nai Kuan before you took the seat of East Star. Fortunately, Nai Kuan sent his son Nai Yongxiao to Singapore in advance to avoid this calamity. You were always on guard against him coming back for revenge, but you didn't expect him to be hiding by your side." He looked at Fong Bingrun with a mocking gaze. "Let me tell you one more thing. Just now, I personally led a team to the 5th dock of Sunflower Surge to intercept a large amount of heroin number 4. If it was placed on the black market, it would probably be worth several hundred million. Humph, humph, humph. Using imported cars to smuggle drugs. Even the cargo ship company and dock staff were bribed. Logically speaking, it should be very difficult to be discovered." Fong Bingruan's eyes widened. "It's Xing. It's Nai Yongxiao who gave you the news?" Xia Rufa did not answer. He still sneered and said, "Although we killed 3, we still captured 2 of the people who went to pick up the goods. If they are convicted, they will be imprisoned for the rest of their lives, so they will not help anyone take the blame. I believe it won't be long before they agree to be the witness of our police stain." Humph, humph, humph. Fong Bingrun, your good days have come to an end. Fong Bingrun had a ferocious expression on his face. He suddenly went up to Xia Rufa and punched him in the face, knocking him down onto the ground. He knocked Xia Rufa to the ground with a single punch. Before Fong Bingrun could calm himself down, he kicked Xia Rufa in the stomach several times in a row, beating him until his whole body curled up. On the other side, Xia Rufa's wife, who was still being held hostage, kept shouting, "Stop hitting me. Please stop hitting me." Fong Bingrun shouted at his subordinates, "Turn his wife around." When the subordinates heard Fong Bingruan's order, they were a little hesitant. After all, Xia Rufa was a senior police officer. If he really did that, his life in the future would not be easy. Xiao Lianhu also said to Fong Bingrun, "Godfather, don't. If this is the case, our East Star will completely oppose the police." Fong Bingrun was breathing heavily. Obviously, he was still very angry. However, after listening to Xiao Lianhu's words, he regained some of his rationality. He waved his hand and asked his subordinates to give up. His subordinates also heaved a sigh of relief. However, Fong Bingrun grabbed Xiao Lianhu's spear and put it on Xia Rufa's head. He gritted his teeth and said, "But this guy and that little B***star are trying to harm me. I can't let him go like this." With that, his thumb pressed the safety button. Xiao Lianhu hurriedly stopped him. "No, Godfather. If we do this, we will be in trouble. The most important thing right now is to get rid of that, be asterisk starred. At this moment, Fong Bingruan's phone rang again. Fong Bingrun took it out and whispered into his ear, "Hello, it's me." Really? Great, this is great. After putting down the phone, Fong Bingrun used the gun to pat Xia Rufa's face twice and sneered, "The two tainted witnesses you mentioned were beaten to death in the detention room." Hee hee. Xia Rufa stared fiercely at Fong Bingrun. "Did you do it? Don't speak nonsense. What proof do you have that I did it? Although you are a police officer, if you slander me like this, I will still sue you." Fong Bingrun said, "Lien Hu, you are right. The most important thing right now is to settle our East Star's own family matters." After that, Fong Bingrun took out his mobile phone and dialed Mo Zhenxing's number. "Is it Ah Xing? I haven't found that second and fifth young? Then don't look for him yet. Go back to the warehouse and wait for me. I have something else for you to do." His voice was very calm, but both Xia Rufa and Xiao Lianhu could see the killing intent in his eyes. Fong Bingrun stood up and kicked Xia Rufa 2 more times, then said, "Officer Xia, let's go back and settle our family matters now. Sorry to bother you today, let's go." After saying that, he brought his subordinates and walked out of Xia Rufa's house. When they reached the door, Xiao Lianhu turned around and looked at Xia Rufa. Xia Rufa was also looking at him and gave Xiao Lianhu a look. Xiao Lianhu nodded slightly and left with Fong Bingrun and the others. Xia Rufa's wife, who only had her underwear left on her upper body, immediately went over and closed the door. She then went to Xia Rufa's side and helped him up. "Officer Xia, are you all right?" She called Xia Rufa a officer and did not look like a husband and wife at all. Xia Rufa touched the blood at the corner of his mouth and smiled in front of him. "Don't worry, I'm fine. It's you who was wrong just now." The woman quickly shook her head. "It's fine. We're all working for the police. This is nothing." From her tone, it was obvious that she was also a police officer. She helped Xia Rufa to the sofa and called Zhang Yingpei. "Director Zhang," she said. "That's right. It's me. Yes, it's done. Fong Bingrun and the others have left." "Oh, we're fine. Thank you for your concern, Chief." At the same time, Fong Bingrun and Xiao Lianhu immediately rushed back to the warehouse in Quanwan. Along the way, Fong Bingrun didn't say a word. A cold killing intent flashed across his eyes, making Xiao Lianhu, who was standing beside him, not dare to speak. When they returned to the warehouse, Mo Zhenxing was already waiting there. When he saw Fong Bingrun, he even took the initiative to greet him. He said with a smile, "Uncle Fatty, why did you ask me to come back? I was just about to find that ***starred Erwu." Fong Bingrun said with a gloomy expression. "No need. I've already found that young five." "Ah, I've already found him? Who is that young five?" Mo Zhenxing asked. At this moment, he heard Fong Bingrun shout to his subordinate behind him, "Go, arrest him." The 2 subordinates behind him immediately walked towards Mo Zhenxing. When the 2 young subordinates beside Mo Zhenxing realized that something was wrong, they also walked out. It seemed like they wanted to stop Fong Bingrun's subordinates. Fong Bingrun shouted out loudly, "What's wrong? You dare to rebel? Do you know who the boss of the E-Star is? F***. Kill them." The 2 gangsters who followed Mo Zhenxing were stunned by Fong Bingrun's shout, and they didn't even have time to react. Fong Bingrun's 2 underlings had already pulled out their guns and killed the 2 hooligans with 1 shot. Mo Zhenxing was still confused. He looked at Fong Bingrun in shock. "Uncle Fatty? What's wrong? You're still pretending? You're that F***king punk?" Fong Bingrun roared angrily, while his 2 subordinates had already restrained Mo Zhenxing from both sides. Mo Zhenxing was a fair and gentle young man who didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken. How could he possibly withstand the attacks of these 2 seasoned fighters? He immediately fell to his knees. He said to Fong Bingrun in a panic, "Uncle Fatty, what young five? I'm not kid. How dare you be so F***king stubborn?" Fong Bingrun became more and more furious. The fat all over his body was trembling slightly. "I have already confirmed with Xie. You are not Mo Zhenxing at all. You are that ***starred, an I Yongxiao, an I Kuan." "What an I Yongxiao? What an I Kuan?" "Fat uncle, I'm Mo Zhenxing. I am really Mo Zhenxing." Mo Zhenxing said, "Look at my ID. You can look at my ID. My real name is Mo Zhenxing, not an I Yongxiao." Fong Bingrun came to his front, squatted down, and looked at Mo Zhenxing. "It has already come to this point. Do you still want to be stubborn?" He rubbed Mo Zhenxing's fair and handsome face. "Why? If you want money, I'll give you money. If you want power, I'll give you power. Even if you want a woman, I'll let you play outside like crazy. What else are you unsatisfied with? Could it be just for that B** starred in Ikuin? Even if he is your father, am I not good enough to you? Why did you betray me? For the sake of revenge, you didn't even hesitate to follow me. You B***. All of a sudden, Fang Bingruan's facial expression changed from gentle to ferocious. He slapped Imo Zhenxing's face hard, causing his left cheek to swell up. Fang Bingruan said, "Do you know how much money I lost this time? 500 million. A total of 500 million. As he spoke, he slapped Imo Zhenxing again. Uncle Fei, I really didn't. Imo Zhenxing's cheeks were red and swollen after being slapped by Fang Bingruan. He was no longer as handsome as before. Fang Bingruan stood up and took a deep breath. He said to his two subordinates who were holding Imo Zhenxing, "Find a place for me and bury this little beast." Perhaps knowing that there was no hope of escaping, Imo Zhenxing threw caution to the wind and stared at Fang Bingruan while cursing. "You old freak. Old pervert. King old pervert who likes women and men. Kill me. Do you know how disgusting it is every time I sleep with you? You disgusting old pervert. Do you really think I like you? I only treat you as a fat pig with money and power. You despicable, dirty, ugly, and disgusting fat pig. You even King provoked me with your sexual disease. I really hope you're suffering from AIDS, you old pervert." Imo Zhenxing's scolding stunned Fang Bingruan's three subordinates, because they did not know that Fang Bingruan was a bisexual. Fang Bingruan was so angry that his face turned green and he couldn't even speak. Imo Zhenxing took advantage of the time when the two of them were stunned and struggled to get out of the cage. He threw himself at Fang Bingruan and bit his ear. 2. Arg. Fang Bingruan screamed. Imo Zhenxing had used all his strength to bite Fang Bingruan until he was bleeding. "Quickly pull him away. Quickly pull him away." Fang Bingruan hurriedly shouted. Only now did the two subordinates react. They hurriedly grabbed Imo Zhenxing and tried to pull him away, but Imo Zhenxing used too much strength. The two of them were unable to pull him away for a moment. At this moment, Xiao Lianhu took out a pistol and pressed it against Imo Zhenxing's forehead. Without saying anything, he pulled the trigger. Bang! After a gunshot, a bloody hole appeared on Imo Zhenxing's forehead. However, this also caused his body to stiffen. He exerted force from his jaw and bit Fang Bingruan's ear off. Arg! Fang Bingruan's voice was as fierce as a pig being slaughtered. However, Xiao Lianhu did not take back his gun. Instead, he fired 3 times in a row. He killed 3 of Fang Bingruan's men in an extremely cold manner. The poor 3 men did not expect Xiao Lianhu to shoot them. They did not understand what had happened the moment they were shot. Fang Bingruan also temporarily forgot about the pain. He looked at Xiao Lianhu in shock. "You? What are you doing?" Xiao Lianhu took back his gun and said, "They know about my godfather's secret, so they can't let him live." Fang Bingruan also reacted. His 3 subordinates had just heard what Imo Zhenxing said. He was afraid that they would also know about his secret. If this secret was spread out, his reputation would be ruined. He immediately understood that Xiao Lianhu's painstaking efforts were very touching. Xiao Lianhu also quickly helped him up. "Godfather, let me accompany you to the hospital." "All right, go quickly, go quickly." Fang Bingruan covered his bleeding wound and walked out with Xiao Lianhu. As for the body in the warehouse, the people of East Star would come to clean it up. Finally, Fang Bingruan was escorted to Prince Wells Hospital by Xiao Lianhu and his subordinates. The ear that was bitten off by Imo Zhenxing was also taken out by Fang Bingruan's subordinates after they pried open his mouth and sent to the hospital immediately. Fortunately, the ear was not necrotic. Prince Wells Hospital sent the best surgeon to help Fang Bingruan suture it. As for the reason of the injury, Fang Bingruan was the leader of East Star. The doctors did not dare to ask about it just by looking at his ferocious face. After the treatment, Fang Bingruan returned to his villa and dismissed all his subordinates, leaving Xiao Lianhu alone. "Lianhu, do you think Xieshur knows about the matter between Enai Yongxiao and me?" Fang Bingruan's expression was very vicious. "If he knows about it, I will find someone to kill him." Xiao Lianhu knew that Fang Bingruan was talking about the secret relationship between him and Imo Zhenxing, so he shook his head. "I don't think he will know, because judging from Enai Yongxiao's reaction just now, he probably won't tell Xia about it. Does he want Xia to write these things in the files? Besides, even if he knows, it's nothing." "Why?" Fang Bingruan asked. Xiao Lianhu smiled. "Because Enai Yongxiao is dead. No one can testify against him. Even if Xia told us about this, who would believe him? Others would think that Xia was slandering your godfather. Moreover, if he told us about this, it would be the same as pushing our society to the opposite side of the police. At that time, it would not be good for anyone to fall out with him. The police might even be blamed by the mainland for this. With Xiaorufa's personality, he wouldn't be so stupid. After listening to Xiao Lianhu's analysis, Fang Bingrun couldn't help but nod his head. In fact, Xiao Lianhu was very happy in his heart because Fang Bingrun even told him that he wanted to get rid of Xiaorufa. This proved that he had a lot of trust in Xiao Lianhu. After all, in Fang Bingrun's eyes, it was all Xiao Lianhu's fault that he was able to find out about Mo Zhenxing's identity. Furthermore, in order to help Fang Bingrun keep the secret, Xiao Lianhu had killed 3 of his men with his own hands. As for whether Fang Bingrun would kill Xiao Lianhu to keep the secret, Xiao Lianhu wasn't worried about it. The reason why he killed Mo Zhenxing could be because Mo Zhenxing was a spy of the police. If he was killed, no one in the club would say anything. However, Xiao Lianhu was different, even though the person Fang Bingrun trusted the most was Mo Zhenxing. In fact, Xiao Lianhu's reputation in the East Star was much higher than Mo Zhenxing's. If he was killed for no reason, Fang Bingrun would have a hard time explaining it to the club. Another reason was that Fang Bingrun was betrayed by the person he trusted the most. Even though he had been an ambitious man in the underworld for many years, he still felt weak and helpless. Xiao Lianhu's performance in the previous series of events could easily gain Fang Bingrun's trust. Sure enough, Fang Bingrun patted Xiao Lianhu's shoulder. "Lianhu, I only know now that you are so loyal to me. I was so biased in the past and trusted that little B** starred in I Yongxiao so much," he said earnestly to Xiao Lianhu. "Lianhu, from now on, I need you to help me with the matters of East Star. I will definitely help my godfather." "Don't worry, thank you, godfather." Xiao Lianhu's face showed gratitude, but he was sneering in his heart. 2 days later, Xiao Lianhu brought his 3 trusted subordinates to Hong Kong's Myriad Reservoir. When he was free, he liked to come here to fish. When he found a shady place with a cool breeze, Xiao Lianhu saw a young man sitting there. He was quietly holding his fishing rod and looking at the rippling water in front of him. His expression was very satisfied. It was Zhou Hao. Xiao Lianhu walked over and sat down next to Zhou Hao. His 3 subordinates were guarding the slope behind them. "You've been here for a long time?" Xiao Lianhu asked Zhou Hao, who was standing beside him, while preparing the fishing rod and bait that he was familiar with. "I just arrived not long ago." Zhou Hao smiled and said, "You, on the other hand, seem very busy." Xiao Lianhu smiled faintly and said, "Haha, Fang Bingrun gave me part of the accounts of the club. It turns out that most of the territory that belongs to Mo Zhenxing is under my control." The 2 of them looked at each other, then raised their right palms and slapped in the air at the same time. Xiao Lianhu smiled and said, "It's all thanks to Xiaorufa and the others' cooperation. Otherwise, Fang Bingrun wouldn't have believed so easily that Mo Zhenxing was a spy of the police." Humph, humph, humph. It's not difficult to create a false record by putting on an act. Zhou Hao smiled and said, "In 2 days, they will bury Mo Zhenxing's tomb at the police cemetery, so that Fang Bingrun will believe it even more. If you really want to thank them, you should thank Division Chief Zhang and Officer Xie." Xiao Lianhu nodded. "Actually, I have already contacted Division Chief Zhang secretly 2 days ago. I will let him contact the mainland. After I get rid of Fang Bingrun, I will let East Star cooperate with the policy of prosperity and stability in Hong Kong, just like Xian and the others." Zhou Hao looked at Xiao Lianhu. "Should I call you Xiao Lianhu now, or Nai Yongxiao?" "Haha, I knew you would guess." Xiao Lianhu, who was also an Nai Yongxiao, said to Zhou Hao with a smile, "I had guessed that there must be some kind of enmity between you and Fang Bingrun. It turns out that he is your father's murderer." And Nai Yongxiao said, "Before I came back to Hong Kong, I swore to my father's memorial tablet that I would kill Fang Bingrun to avenge him. I also want to take back the East Star that belongs to our Nai family." Zhou Hao patted his shoulder lightly. "I believe that the East Star will be much better in your hands than in Fang Bingrun's. Uncle Pei told me yesterday that he will also support you in the country. As long as you replace Fang Bingrun, the East Star will get the same benefits as Xian." And Nai Yongxiao glanced at Zhou Hao. "I believe you have contributed a lot to the continent's agreement." He knew that because of Fang Bingrun's actions, the domestic government had already listed the British Society as one of the gangs that would be attacked after Hong Kong's return. Even if he could change the position of the Society of Heroes after he got rid of Fang Bingrun in the future, the domestic side would not be able to accept him so easily. This kind of result was definitely because Zhou Hao had put in a lot of effort. "Actually, I did not do anything. I just said a few good words for you." "All right, after you have truly gained control of the East Star, I will introduce someone to you." Zhou Hao smiled. Actually, he was using Fan Li's relationship with him this time. Fan Li's father, Fan Yiming, was the mayor of Guangzhou City. He was also the provincial commissar of Guangdong Province, and his political faction was also very powerful. Therefore, Zhou Hao had used this relationship to help Ai Yongxiao establish a relationship with the Provincial Public Security Bureau, and the Provincial Public Security Bureau had agreed to it. As long as Ai Yongxiao could become the leader of the alliance and change the alliance's position, they would be able to cooperate with the domestic policies. They would give Ai Yongxiao, the New Ian Society, and the New Ian Society the same preferential treatment. Fan Yiming had already known that Zhao Rixin had accepted Zhou Hao as his foster son, so he was naturally happy to give Zhou Hao this favor. And after Hong Kong returned in the future, the business of the Alliance of Heroes would also move north. Fan Li's business was very broad, and at that time, he would naturally benefit. And Ai Yongxiao also knew Zhou Hao's important role in this matter, so he said to him seriously, "Mr. Zhou, don't worry. As long as I have the power of the East Star, I will definitely raise that 1 billion yuan for you." 3. He had now realized that although Zhou Hao had once said that 1 billion yuan was just a loan, he would return it to her after a period of time. But now, Ai Yongxiao owed Zhou Hao such a huge favor, and he was afraid that his future development would not be without Zhou Hao's help. This 1 billion HKD, even if Zhou Hao wanted to return it, Ai Yongxiao would not want it. By the way, according to what I know, there is indeed a spy from the police in your East Star, Zhou Hao suddenly said. I know that, Ai Yongxiao said calmly. Many people in the club have police spies, including me, Ai Yongxiao said. He looked back. His gaze drifted to the 3 subordinates in the distance. He said to Zhou Hao, "My subordinate, Ajay, is an undercover agent?" Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Didn't you say that these are your trusted aides? Why are there spies again?" Ai Yongxiao said faintly, "Ajay has been with me for 3 years and has always been very competent. If I am ambushed, he will always stand in front of me and block me. He has also personally killed many people for me, but I already knew that he was a spy of the police. However, even if I kill him, so what? Didn't the police send someone else over? I might as well keep him and let those police officers do it. I can also feel at ease and let them think that I'm under their control. That way, my situation will be safer." He looked at Zhou Hao and said, "Especially now that the people of the continent have promised me, I can't kill Ajia. Otherwise, the people of the continent will feel that I can't control them. At that time, I will be in danger." Zhou Hao gave Ai Yongxiao a thumbs up. "You sure are meticulous. With you around, Fongbing Run will have no future. With Mr. Zhou's help, I guarantee that Fongbing Run will not live for more than 3 months." Ai Yongxiao said. Zhou Hao just smiled. Seeing his fishing rod bend down, he decisively grabbed it and pulled it back. He saw a big carp that weighed about 5 or 6 kilograms struggling to move its body while biting the hook. Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Humph, humph, humph. Look, the big fish has already taken the bait. It's still meat for us." "Boss, Quantum Fund and Tiger Fund are taking the lead to attack Thai-Baht, and the Central Bank of Thailand is slowly retreating." In the office of Galaxy Investment, a man in his 30s was quickly typing on the keyboard. His eyes were also focused on the blinking data on the computer screen in front of him. At the same time, he reported to Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao stood in front of the huge monitor in the company. His eyes caught the rapidly changing stock data on it. Su Lin, who was beside him, quickly helped him record it. Zhou Hao said, "Okay, follow Soros and the rest closely. Give bot another push. The Central Bank of Thailand will not last long." "Got it, boss." A few operators answered. The tapping of the keyboard kept coming, making the air in the office feel busy. Su Lin said to Zhou Hao, "Boss, Thailand's foreign exchange reserves have been used up by more than half. We need to hurry up." "Don't worry. With Soros and Robeson as the vanguard, I am happy to have nothing to do." Zhou Hao smiled confidently. It was already June. Thailand, George Soros and Julian Robeson and the other financial tycoons were also fighting more and more fiercely. Zhou Hao also used his own funds to follow the Quantum Fund and Tiger Fund, benefiting greatly. Even though the huge investments following the large sum of funds also attacked Malaysia, Singapore, and other Southeast Asian countries during this period of time. However, Zhou Hao did not allocate any funds to attack, because he planned to concentrate on attacking Thai-Baht to obtain the greatest profits. At the same time, Hong Kong's return was also in the countdown. In half a month, Hong Kong would end the colonization era and officially return to the motherland. Zhang Yingquan and Xing Yingpei were also busy with the matter of returning. As for Dong Jianhua, who would be the first administrative officer of the special regional government, Zhou Hao had met with him before under Zhang Yingquan's guidance. In private, Dong Jianhua was like an ordinary elder, very friendly and friendly to Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao originally wanted to give him some guidance in the administrative work in the future, but after thinking about it, He realized that if he did this, it would involve a lot of people, and it might cause unpredictable changes, so he decided to let it go. After a whole day of financial operations, Zhou Hao, who had spent a lot of energy, returned to his office. He sat on the big chair and stretched. He sighed and said, "Sigh. It turns out that this boss is not easy to make." Su Lin, who followed him in, poured him a cold Sprite soda. She now knew that Zhou Hao was not very interested in coffee, milk tea, and other drinks. Instead, he liked the Sprite carbonated water very much. She smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "As the boss, you can be considered to be relaxed. Don't look at the operators and analysts outside. When I get off work one day, I will feel dizzy and sore at the waist and back. There are many things to be done. You will gain as much as you pay." Zhou Hao smiled and took the Sprite. He raised his head and drank more than half of the cup. He immediately felt comfortable. Su Lin stood behind Zhou Hao and gently rubbed Zhou Hao's temples with her hands. Zhou Hao also leaned against the back of the chair and closed his eyes to quietly enjoy Su Lin's service. At the same time, he smiled and said, "Haha, Su Lin, your cooking is getting better and better. You have many skills, but it's still not that you are exploiting people. It's not enough to be your secretary, and you also need to be your maidservant." Su Lin complained with a smile, but in her heart, she was very happy to serve Zhou Hao like this. Zhou Hao said, "Yes, I have worked hard for the whole day. I will go and have some rest tonight." Su Lin, fifth brother, asked me to go and play tonight. Are you going? Su Lin wanted to agree but shook her head. "I still don't want to go. When I go back later, I still have to help you with tomorrow's operation process. Otherwise, you will be flustered tomorrow." "Then forget it." Zhou Hao smiled and said, "But your secretary is really competent. With you around, I feel much more relaxed." After sending Su Lin back to Half Mountain, Zhou Hao took another bath and drove out to find Xiang Huaqiang. However, just as the car left the door, Zhou Hao received a call from Liang Xiaobing. "Zhou Hao, are you free tonight? I just finished filming an advertisement and wanted to go out and relax. Fifth brother asked me out, but if you don't mind, just come with me," Zhou Hao said. Liang Xiaobing smiled on the phone. "Okay, I am in the TV city now. Come and pick me up." So, Zhou Hao drove the car to the TV city of Wireless Television Limited. He also saw a few cars from different magazines gathered at the entrance of the TV city. There were also more than 10 reporters with cameras guarding the place. When they saw Zhou Hao's Porsche, those reporters could not help but look over. They were very familiar with the cars of the various celebrities and employees of Wireless Television Limited. They recognized that this Porsche did not belong to the people in the TV city. Naturally, they guessed that it belonged to the people in the TV city. It wasn't some rich kid who came to pick up a female artiste again. Professional habits made them point their cameras at Zhou Hao's car one after another, in case they really saw that female artiste get into the car and take an exclusive photo. Looking at the reporters outside who were eyeing him covetously, Zhou Hao hurriedly rolled up the window and drove the car into the parking lot of TV City. Liang Xiaobing was already waiting for Zhou Hao at the exit of the elevator in the parking lot. When she saw Zhou Hao's car, she looked left and right before quickly walking into Zhou Hao's car. "I saw a lot of reporters outside your door. Don't tell me they are waiting for you?" Zhou Hao said with a smile. "Who said not?" Liang Xiaobing said helplessly. "Actually, it's not just me. A few top artistes in the company are their targets. Once they discover any news that is worth reporting, they will be like dogs that have seen bones and will not let go. If I had known earlier, I would have let you pick me up somewhere else. If they had seen it, I don't know what it would have written." Zhou Hao smiled. "Don't worry. After you close the window, you won't be able to see this place from the outside." Sure enough, when Zhou Hao took Liang Xiaobing out of the door, the reporters all aimed their cameras at them. But because they couldn't see the situation in the car, they could only give up in the end. However, some stubborn reporters still took pictures of Zhou Hao's license plate number. Liang Xiaobing, who was in the car, only heaved a sigh of relief when she was far away from those reporters. Seeing her like this, Zhou Hao could not help but smile. However, in Hong Kong, these reporters who were called paparazzi were not a small threat to celebrities and public figures. If they were not careful, their private lives would be exposed, and even news that would shake the entire city would be exposed. "Where does fifth brother want to ask you out to play?" Liang Xiaobing asked Zhou Hao at this time. Originally, because of Feng Bing Run, Liang Xiaobing was very averse to people from the underworld. In particular, there was a lot of exploitation relationships between the underworld and the artistes, especially when many people from the underworld did not have such a glorious relationship with the artistes. However, because of Zhou Hao, Xiang Huaqiang also took good care of Liang Xiaobing. Eternal Film Company also planned to invite her to play some roles in the next few scenes. Therefore, Liang Xiaobing, who was usually the most afraid of social gatherings, would not mind having normal relationships with people from all walks of life if Zhou Hao was by her side. Fifth brother has just opened a gambling boat and wants to invite me to go up and play. Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Gambling money?" Liang Xiaobing hesitated. Based on her family's education and the fact that she knew some artistes who were in debt due to gambling, she subconsciously rejected gambling. Zhou Hao smiled and said, "It's just a small bet, and I won't drag you down with me. I'm just accompanying you, so you can treat it as a meeting." In fact, Zhou Hao quite liked places like casinos nowadays. Because of his superhuman instincts, casinos were no doubt a ready-made ATM for him. To others, it was a very risky gamble, but to him, it was purely a win-win. Therefore, in Xiang City, when Xiangdong did not dare to let him go to the underground casino in Emotion City anymore, he also gave him a private number call, Xiang City Gamble God. Liang Xiaobing was afraid that Zhou Hao would think that he was stingy with money, so she quickly said, "No, no. If you like it, I have nothing to do with it." Haha, actually, we don't need to pay for it ourselves. Since fifth brother invited us, he should at least give us some gambling money. Zhou Hao said with a smile. 0. When they arrived at Xiang Huaqiang's villa, Xiang Huaqiang and Li Lan were already waiting for Zhou Hao. Seeing that it was still early, Xiang Huaqiang invited Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing to have a meal at home. Then they started chatting again. Since Li Lan and Liang Xiaobing were both in the entertainment industry, and Li Lan was about to invite Liang Xiaobing to play the roles of the next few movies in Yongsheng Film Company, they started chatting over there. Meanwhile, Xiang Huaqiang was chatting with Zhou Hao about Hong Kong movies. Actually, Zhou Hao liked Hong Kong movies very much, especially works during the period of Hong Kong movies' glory. Many of them had become iconic. Xiang Huaqiang's Yongsheng Film Company had also produced many successful commercial films. Zhou Hao gave Xiang Huaqiang a lot of good suggestions from the perspective of an audience. As for the classic movies that would appear in the future, Zhou Hao did not mention it at all. He thought it would be better to develop it in the normal way. At 9 o'clock in the evening, Xiang Huaqiang and his wife took Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing to their newly opened gambling boat. They arrived at the port of Sui Sha Sui. They boarded a white yacht first, then drove out of the open sea. After leaving the open sea, Zhou Hao also saw a white cruise ship on the calm surface of the sea. From the outside, it looked no different from other cruise ships, but there were large casinos with perfect facilities, as well as sauna, karaoke, and other entertainment facilities. This cruise ship has a few English words written in white paint, which means Sea Triumph. Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing followed Xiang Huaqiang and his wife to the ship. They saw that the captain of Sea Triumph was there to welcome them. The captain was about 45 years old. He was wearing a formal captain's uniform and had a striking white hat on his head. According to Xiang Huaqiang, the captain's surname was Gu, and he had specially poached him from a large shipping company. After seeing Xiang Huaqiang and Li Lan, Captain Gu respectfully smiled and said, "Mr. and Mrs. Duan." Then he nodded to Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing. "Mr. Zhou, Miss Liang." Obviously, he had already known from Xiang Huaqiang that Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing would come. "Are the guests all here?" Xiang Huaqiang asked. "Yes, Mr. Xiang. We can start the boat anytime." Captain Gu smiled. "Then let's set sail." Xiang Huaqiang revealed a cold smile. Under the lead of Captain Gu, Zhou Hao, Xiang Huaqiang and the others walked onto the ship, the Triumph Gate on the sea. As soon as they stepped inside, Zhou Hao was shocked by the luxurious cruise ship. He felt that this place really was like a palace on the sea, glittering and resplendent. Moreover, the waiters all wore short cheongsam, revealing a pair of beautiful girls with snow-white thighs. They were walking among the guests with bright smiles on their faces. These guests were from the underworld, and there were also successful wealthy businessmen. Many of them even had young and beautiful female companions with them. Although this place was filled with both good and bad people, all of them had rich waists that were better than others. Most of these guests knew Xiang Huaqiang. When they saw Xiang Huaqiang and his wife, they all nodded at him. When Xiang Huaqiang and Captain Gu arrived at the high platform in the middle of the hall, all the guests quieted down. Obviously, they knew Xiang Huaqiang had something to say. Xiang Huaqiang smiled and said to everyone, "Guests, today is the first day of my ship, the Triumph on the Sea. I am very grateful that everyone is able to find time to come. Since everyone is giving me such a great gift, I will say thank you here." The people below immediately applauded, and Xiang Huaqiang raised his hand and pressed down. After everyone calmed down, he said, "In order to thank everyone, we will give each of you 10,000 Hong Kong dollars worth of chips for free. I hope everyone can have fun and have a lot of money." Hearing Xiang Huaqiang's generous offer, Everyone's applause became even more enthusiastic. Zhou Hao also secretly praised Xiang Huaqiang's forthright attitude. There were more than 1,000 people on this ship. 10,000 Hong Kong dollars per person was a huge investment of over 10 million HKD. After coming down from the high platform, Xiang Huaqiang put his arm around Zhou Hao's shoulder and said with a smile, "Come, Xiao Hao, let me show you around." So he acted as the temporary tour guide and brought Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing to tour this ship. As Hong Kong did not allow people to gather to gamble, the gambling boats that were operated in Hong Kong would often be open to the public sea to avoid the laws of Hong Kong. Xiang Huaqiang had indeed spent a lot of effort on this gambling boat. The casino equipment on the boat was perfect and the environment was beautiful. It was much more luxurious than when Shandong's underground casino. Besides the casino, there were also restaurants, swimming pools, sauna, and karaoke entertainment facilities on the boat. Liang Xiaobing held Zhou Hao's arm and followed him to tour this luxurious gambling boat that was full of money and paper. In the midst of the red and green lights, she also felt that it was like a dream. Fifth brother. This boat must have spent a lot of money. After touring the boat once, Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Yeah, I didn't waste my money this time, 500 or 600 million. But I believe that this money will be earned back very soon." As they were talking, Zhou Hao and his wife followed Xiang Huaqiang and his wife into a spacious and luxurious hall on the ship. The style of this hall was completely different from the other gambling halls. The style of this hall was very stylish and elegant, and it also had a much higher quality than the other gambling halls. Moreover, the environment here was not as noisy as the other gambling halls. The moment he stepped into this place, Zhou Hao knew that this gambling hall was definitely a so-called VIP place. "Hey, fifth brother, why are you only here? We've already played a few dozen rounds." A man in his 30s sat beside the gambling table. When he turned around, he saw Xiang Huaqiang, who had just come in, and said with a smile. The man's appearance was not bad. He wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, and he was also wearing a suit and leather shoes. It was obvious that he was from a wealthy family. Besides, there was a very beautiful woman beside him. Zhou Hao felt that she looked familiar. Liang Xiaobing, who was beside him, whispered, "It's her. You know her?" Zhou Hao smiled and asked, "Or is she also the female star of Wireless Television Limited?" Since he felt that she was familiar with her face, Zhou Hao was sure that this woman was also an artiste. Liang Xiaobing nodded. "She is the A-list artiste that our company has been supporting this year, Chen Shadong." Upon hearing this name, Zhou Hao remembered that this Chen Shadong was the leader of Wireless Television Limited in the 1990s. Later on, she transferred to the Asia Television Limited and filmed a few television series. After that, she didn't show up much. Chen Shadong obviously saw Liang Xiaobing as well. She couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression on her face. Because she knew Liang Xiaobing was an unusual person in the company. She rarely interacted with any wealthy people or attended any banquet activities. She did not expect to see her today at Xiang Huaqiang's Triumph Gate on the Sea. After that, her gaze shifted to Zhou Hao, whose arm was held by Liang Xiaobing. She was also surprised by Zhou Hao's extraordinary bearing, but also felt a little puzzled. Because in her impression, she had never seen Zhou Hao in Hong Kong's circle of wealthy people. But she thought again. "I heard from the company that Liang Xiaobing was pestered by Fang Bingrun and even sent his godson, Xiao Lianhu, to call the city to take her away, but he was chased away by a man. After that, for some reason, Fang Bingrun stopped harassing Liang Xiaobing. Everyone in the company said that Liang Xiaobing's matter was settled because of that man. Could it be him?" Although being the center of attention of beautiful women was something to be proud of, Zhou Hao was not interested in this Chen Shadong. At this moment, he heard Xiang Huaqiang introduce the people in the guest hall to Zhou Hao. As Zhou Hao expected, the people here were either rich or expensive, especially the man who had Chen Shadong with him. According to Xiang Huaqiang, he was a disciple of the Hong Kong wealthy class Su family called Su Jinsheng. He was also a famous playboy in Hong Kong. Most of the women around him were singers and celebrities. "Fifth brother. Who is this guy? I've never seen him before." Su Jinsheng's eyes also fell on Zhou Hao. He is my friend. His name is Zhou Hao. He came from China to Hong Kong to do business some time ago." Xiang Huaqiang said. Su Jinsheng curled his lips and smiled. "Oh, so it's a big circle. No wonder he's so uncouth." Xiang Huaqiang's face immediately darkened. "Young Master Su, he's my friend. So please show some respect to him." This place was after all a place for others to vent their anger upon seeing this formidable man who had roamed the martial world for decades. Su Jinsheng smiled and said, "Fifth brother, it's just a joke. Do you need to take it so seriously? Since it's your friend, fifth brother, That's my friend, Su Jinsha. He shouted at Zhou Hao, right? There is a place here. Come and play with me. But this is not the gambling table for the small fishes and shrimps. The lowest bet here is 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. Zhou Hao said to Xiang Huaqiang, but fifth brother, I didn't bring that much cash. 2. I already guessed that you came to take advantage of me. Xiang Huaqiang scolded Zhou Hao with a smile and then said to Captain Gu behind him, go to the account room and bring 2 million chips over. Zhou Hao did not refuse and said with a smile, don't worry, fifth brother. I will return it to you very soon. After saying that, he sat down on the empty seat in front of the gambling table. Liang Xiaobing also took the initiative to sit beside him. This gambling table played 100 family entertainment, and since Su Jinxing's gambling money was among everyone, there were the most. So now it was him who was the dealer. After sending the cards to his left and right, Su Jinxing said, all right, hurry up and place your bets. Liang Xiaobing asked Zhou Hao, what should we buy? Zhou Hao thought for a while and said, let's buy Xian family to win. Just 500,000. When Su Jinxing heard Zhou Hao's words, he sneered and said, kid, you really don't know what's good for you. Do you know that I have won 5 rounds of banker in a row? You still dare to buy an idle family to win? Be careful, if you lose all your money, you won't be able to return it to fifth brother. Beside him, a middle-aged man in his 50s smiled and said, young Master Su, don't be so complacent. You've already won 5 games, so it's only a matter of time before your luck turns out to be good. Today, Shatong is so generous to me. Just wait for the money to be lost. He hugged Chen Satong, who was beside him, and kissed her loudly on the face. Although Chen Shatong was still smiling, her expression was unnatural. Su Jinxing flipped open his 2 cards, and his points were 8. He snorted and said, did you see that? You have all admitted defeat. Wait. The middle-aged man smiled and flipped his card. It's 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, young Master Su. It's finally my turn to win this round. Liang Xiaobing, who was beside Zhou Hao, also asked, Zhou Hao, are we going to win or lose? Zhou Hao smiled lightly. It seems that you are my lucky girl. We won. Really? Liang Xiaobing's smile was also very bright. It was not because of how much money Zhou Hao had won. It was because Zhou Hao said she was his lucky girl. However, Su Jinsheng, who had lost money, looked at Zhou Hao with hatred in his eyes, as if he had lost money because of Zhou Hao. Come on, bet. Su Jinxing impatiently urged the others. After he sent out the cards, he narrowed his eyes and looked at Zhou Hao. Who do you want to bet on this time? Zhou Hao thought for a moment and smiled. He bet 1 million on Xian family or Xian family. The middle-aged man who just once smiled at Zhou Hao and said, little brother, are you that confident in me? Ha, but no matter what, it's good. Thank you for looking after me. On the other side, Su Jinxing snorted lightly and flipped his card angrily. It was 7 o'clock. On the other side, the Xian family flipped their cards. It was 6 o'clock. Everyone turned their eyes to the middle-aged man. They saw the middle-aged man. He chuckled and said to Su Jinxing, young Master Su, I'm really sorry. You will have to pay for this round again. He turned the card over, and it was 8 o'clock. It was just a little bigger than Su Jinxing's. Zhou Hao, we won again. Liang Xiaobing smiled at Zhou Hao excitedly. Zhou Hao smiled at her. I already said you were my lucky girl. Seeing Zhou Hao's handsome smile, Liang Xiaobing's cheeks reddened slightly. She lowered her head slightly and said softly, it is just your own good luck. It should have nothing to do with me. Although she said that on the surface, she felt sweet in her heart. On the other side, Su Jinxing's expression was very ugly. Even Chen Shatong beside him did not dare to comfort her. Although he had already lost millions of dollars, Su Jinxing had never been willing to be second. He would still be the dealer in the next round. After sending out the cards, he was too lazy to ask Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao also placed the money on the Xian family. In the end, Su Jinxing lost to another Xian family, and Zhou Hao won over $1 million. Xiaobing, it looks like you're really my lucky girl. Looks like I will have to bring you to the casino in the future. Zhou Hao smiled at Liang Xiaobing, who was beside him. Seeing Zhou Hao win 3 rounds in a row, even Liang Xiaobing doubted if she had really brought luck to Zhou Hao. She was also very happy in her heart. Zhou Hao's words fiercely provoked Su Jinxing. He pointed at Zhou Hao and said angrily, I will bet with you this round. But young Master Su, don't blame me for not reminding you. You don't seem to have many chips on your table. Zhou Hao looked at the table in front of Su Jinxing. There were not many chips left. He heard Su Jinxing raise his face and sneer, Humph. Do you think the people of Su family have no money? Immediately, He took out a checkbook and wrote a check and handed it to the waiter behind him. Hurry up and give me the 10 million HK. As soon as the waiter received the check, Chen Shadong whispered to Su Jinsheng, Jinsheng, didn't you say that your daddy doesn't like you gambling? You still need so much money, are you afraid? Before she could finish, Su Jinsheng waved his right hand and gave her a loud slap. He said fiercely, since when do you have the right to interfere in my business? Get the hell out of here and let me have my bad luck. Being slapped in front of so many people, not only the surrounding people, but even Chen Shadong herself was stunned. She blankly pressed down on her face, which was quickly turning red and swollen. Tears immediately accumulated in her eyes. Seeing the surrounding people, especially Liang Xiaobing's shocked gaze, Chen Shadong felt extremely humiliated. In the end, she could not help but cover her face and walk out of the VIP room as if she was escaping. Young Master Su, no matter what, she is still my woman. This is too much, Zhou Hao said with a frown. In fact, he didn't have much sympathy for Chen Shadong. He would never sympathize with those female stars who sold themselves out for fame and fortune. He just felt that Su Jinsheng's actions were too much. However, Su Jinsheng glared at Zhou Hao. You already said that she was my woman. If I want to scold her, I'll scold her. If I want to hit her, I'll hit her. It has nothing to do with you. Seeing that the waiter holding his check was still in a daze, he shouted, hurry up and bring me the chips. Seeing Su Jinsheng's self-centered attitude, an extremely selfish person like Su Jinsheng, Zhou Hao could only shake his head. He thought to himself, looks like I'll have to use another way to teach you a lesson. So he said, you want to bet with me, right? All right, I'll keep you company. Let's not mess with other complicated things. Let's play dice. Hearing Zhou Hao's words, Su Jinsheng said without thinking, okay, dice it is. Thus, the people in the casino immediately invited Zhou Hao and Su Jinsheng to another table that specialized in dice gambling. The people who had just played 100 games with them also came over to watch the show. They couldn't bear to see Su Jinsheng being so arrogant. It was just that none of the people here had the ability to compete with the Su family, so they had to give in to Su Jinsheng. Let's buy the big and small ones. You have 10 million chips, and I have 5 million. Let's see who loses all the chips first. Those who lose have to shout, I'm not a man. 3 times to everyone present. Zhou Hao said to Su Jinsheng. Okay. Su Jinsheng sneered. He didn't care about fairness anymore. After the croupier finished shaking the dice, Zhou Hao placed 100,000 chips on small. When Su Jinsheng saw this, he immediately placed 200,000 chips on big. Obviously, he wanted to have a showdown with Zhou Hao. I'll buy it and leave it to you, the croupier said faintly and picked up the dice cup. He saw that the 3 dice inside were 1, 2, which meant that Zhou Hao had won. Su Jinsheng, who lost the money, glared at the croupier, as if he thought that the croupier was with Zhou Hao. After that, Zhou Hao smiled at Su Jinsheng and said, I'll let you think about it this time. Su Jinsheng did not answer. He just put the 100,000 chips in the big place. Zhou Hao thought for a while and also took out 100,000 chips. He put it over to small. Buy it for sure. Before the croupier finished speaking, he heard Su Jinsheng say, don't talk nonsense, quickly open it. The croupier was also very dissatisfied with Su Jinsheng's arrogant attitude. However, the other party was a guest and his background was unusual. The croupier would never dare to offend him, so he picked up the dice cup according to his words. The points of the 3 dice were 2, 3, 4. The small dice meant that Zhou Hao won again. D***M in it. I don't believe this evil thing. I want to buy big. Su Jinsheng said angrily, pushing the million chips in front of him to big. Zhou Hao also took out $1 million and bet on small. The result was the same. Zhou Hao won. Even Liang Xiaobing and the surrounding people were amazed. Liang Xiaobing also did not like Su Jinsheng. Although she and Chen Shadong were not friends, they were still friends. Su Jinsheng humiliating Chen Shadong just now had made Liang Xiaobing hate him. Now that she saw Zhou Hao beat Su Jinsheng over and over again, Liang Xiaobing was also very excited. Especially when Zhou Hao beat Su Jinsheng, that kind of jovial and calm attitude was as charming as a chivalrous hero. Su Jinsheng had lost a few rounds in a row, and he only had about 3 million chips left in his hand. Zhou Hao's chips had already reached 11 million, making Su Jinsheng feel as if Zhou Hao had won his money. Young Master Su, forget it. Sometimes, it's very strange for a person to have bad luck. Zhou Hao smiled at Su Jinsheng and said, as for the words I am not a man, forget it. We are not children anymore. There is no need to do such childish things. 3. Zhou Hao's words suddenly sounded like he was magnanimous and accommodating Su Jinsheng. In fact, he was trying to goad Su Jinsheng. And Su Jinsheng was just as he had expected. He roared ferociously, "Pui, do I need you to pity me too?" As he spoke, he placed all the chips on the table on the small side. "This time, I bet on the small side. Then I'll bet well." Zhou Hao smiled and placed the same amount of chips on big. With such a large number of bets, Liang Xiaobing, who was beside Zhou Hao, could not help but become nervous. She silently prayed for Zhou Hao in her heart. 6, 6, 17, big. The croupier picked up the dice cup and said with a calm expression. In fact, he was already smiling brightly in his heart. Su Jinsheng lost the money. He was happy from the bottom of his heart. Who asked Su Jinsheng to be so arrogant? Impossible. How is this possible? Su Jinsheng pointed at the croupier and scolded. How could he win more than 10 rounds? You pay 1,000. That's right, you're with him. You guys will definitely pay 1,000. The croupier's face immediately sank as he said, "Young Master Su, we're all operating according to the rules of the casino. We definitely won't cheat. If you don't believe me, we have surveillance cameras here. We've also recorded the entire process just now. You can go and take a look at the recordings. The video is yours. Of course, you can say whatever you want." Su Jinsheng did not want to give up. "Let Xiang Huaqiang come out. This is a scam. You old swindlers. Who dares to cheat in my casino?" As soon as Su Jinsheng finished speaking, Xiang Huaqiang's voice came from outside. He also saw Xiang Huaqiang walking in with a few of his subordinates. Su Jinsheng restrained himself a little when he saw Xiang Huaqiang coming in, but he still said angrily, "Fifth brother, your friend is too dishonest. He is cheating. Otherwise, how could he win every round?" Zhou Hao did not have any excessive reaction to Su Jinsheng's slander. He just smiled disdainfully. Liang Xiaobing, on the other hand, could not stand it anymore. She defended Zhou Hao and said, "Zhou Hao did not cheat. Everyone here can testify that you did not admit your loss." Xiang Huaqiang also stared at Su Jin and said, "Su Jinsheng, Xiao Hao is my friend. I trust his character. Also, insulting him is insulting me. Humph, humph. Even your father, Su Jiaming, gave me some face. I advise you not to cause trouble here." The Su family is one of the top families in Hong Kong with many years of history. As the eldest son of the Su family, Su Jinsheng was the center of attention wherever he went. Now that Xiang Huaqiang had made it difficult for him to step down the stage in front of so many people, Su Jinsheng couldn't help but feel angry. The one with the surname. "Even Peng Dingkong has given face to our Su family. Who do you think you are? How dare you treat me like this?" Xiang Huaqiang didn't say anything, but the two men beside him pulled out their pistols and pointed their black muzzles at Su Jinsheng's head. Xiang Huaqiang also said slowly, "This is the international waters. Even if I kill you, the Hong Kong police have no right to arrest me. According to international law, only the registered country of this cruise ship has the right to arrest me." He glanced at Su Jinsheng and said, "This ship is registered in Panama, and I am friends with the president of Panama." What he meant was that even if Xiang Huaqiang really killed Su Jinsheng, no one would be able to do anything to him. Su Jinsheng immediately became afraid in front of the two pistols, but he still said stubbornly, "Xiang Huaqiang, if you dare to touch me, Su family will not let you go. My dad went to Beijing to meet those leaders. Aren't you afraid that the central government will deal with you?" Xiang Huaqiang waved his hand, and his two subordinates took the guns back. He also said to Su Jinsheng coldly, "If it wasn't for Su Jiaming, I would have sent someone to throw you into the sea to feed the sharks. Come on, find 2 people to send young Master Su back. We are a small temple. We can't afford to have a Buddha here. This is ridiculous." Immediately, 2 men walked over, one on the left and the other on the right, and took Su Jinsheng away from the guest hall. At this time, Zhou Hao was still smiling behind them. "Young Master Su, next time you have a chance, you can bet a few more times. I welcome you at any time." Su Jinsheng turned his head around and looked at Zhou Hao with hatred. "Big Circle Kid, if you know what's good for you, then get the hell back to the mainland. If I see you in Hong Kong, you will never have to go back." Zhou Hao just smiled at Su Jinsheng's threat, and Xiang Huaqiang waved his hand. "Send young Master Su back." His 2 subordinates carried Su Jinsheng away and sent him back to Hong Kong with speedboats. After Su Jinsheng left, Xiang Huaqiang smiled at the others in the VIP room. "I'm sorry, everyone. I made you laugh just now. Let's continue playing." Zhou Hao was not in the mood to play anymore, so he returned the 2 million chips that Xiang Huaqiang had given him. Amazing, Xiao Hao. It has only been an hour, but he has already won 10 million. He is even better than Gao Jin. The Gao Jin he was talking about was the main character in the movie Gamble God that he had invested in. Although it looked like Zhou Hao had won the bet, Su Jinxing had also lost more than 10 million yuan. In fact, Zhou Hao had won Su Jinxing's money. After that, Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing followed Xiang Huaqiang to his office on the cruise. This office was very large and luxurious. There was a shark tooth specimen hanging on the wall behind Xiang Huaqiang's desk. It looked very imposing. Xiang Huaqiang took out a bottle of red wine from the wine cabinet and poured 2 glasses for Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing. Zhou Hao knew that the red wine Xiang Huaqiang collected must be extraordinary. After a simple taste, although he was not an expert in appreciating red wine, he still felt that the red wine was mellow and delicious. At this time, Liang Xiaobing, who was beside him, said to him, "Zhou Hao, you have a grudge with Su Jinsheng. He will not let it go so easily." "You know him too?" Zhou Hao asked. Liang Xiaobing nodded. "In Hong Kong, there are many people who don't know him. He often appears on the cover of entertainment magazines and often has rumors with different female celebrities." Xiang Huaqiang also said, "Su family is one of the few top wealthy families in Hong Kong. Just like what he said just now, even Peng Dingkong and the previous governors do not dare to not give face to Su family." Seeing Zhou Hao's curious expression, he explained, "Su Jinxing's grandfather is the first-generation king of shipping in Hong Kong, Su Gai. Although their family does not have many shipping businesses now, however, he has a very high position in infrastructure, real estate, finance, and other industries. After the ship king Su Gai passed away, Su Jiaming and his 2 brothers managed the shipping, real estate, and mining assets respectively. Later on, Su Jiaming's 2 brothers passed away one after another, and all of Su family's assets were gathered in Su Jiaming's hands. Now, the Su family's sword-stabbed enterprise, together with the Sunflower Torrent Pier, has a market value of nearly 100 billion Hong Kong dollars. Xiang Huaqiang said to Zhou Hao, "Us gangsters have nothing to be afraid of. Besides, Su Jiaming doesn't dare to offend me too much. Xiao Hao, why don't I introduce you to Su Jiaming? If he knows that you are Chang Zhao's adopted son, I believe he will also." Zhou Hao shook his head. "There's no need for that. I don't want to rely too much on my godfather's name. If I were to use my godfather's name for everything, it would weaken my godfather's reputation instead." He revealed a confident smile. "If Su Jinxing wants to take revenge on me, feel free to do so. I have never been afraid of him." Seeing Zhou Hao's calm and composed expression, Xiang Huaqiang and Liang Xiaobing couldn't help but feel relieved. Around 12 o'clock at night, Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing left the Triumph Gate on the sea and returned to Hong Kong. Zhou Hao sent Liang Xiaobing downstairs and heard Liang Xiaobing smile at Zhou Hao. "Thank you, Zhou Hao. I had a good time today." "Haha, you are my lucky girl. You helped me win so much money today. I have to prepare a gift for you." Zhou Hao smiled. Liang Xiaobing shook her head and said, "No need. I did not do anything." Zhou Hao did not comment and smiled at her. "Go back and rest early. Staying up late is a woman's biggest enemy." "Yes," Liang Xiaobing answered softly. She opened the car door and was about to get out of the car. She suddenly turned around and went in front of Zhou Hao. She kissed him on the face and then immediately got out of the car and ran home. Zhou Hao faintly heard her say good night. He touched the place Liang Xiaobing kissed on his face in surprise and felt that there was still that fragrant and soft texture there. Zhou Hao recalled Liang Xiaobing's charming face and smiled bitterly. He then drove away. It was already past 1 o'clock in the morning when he returned to the villa in the middle of the mountain. Zhou Hao saw that the lights in the hall were still on. He walked in and saw Su Lin, who was dressed in her house uniform, half lying on the sofa. Her eyes were closed and her nose was slightly trembling. "Why are you sleeping in the living room?" Zhou Hao walked over and shook her gently. "Su Lin, wake up, Su Lin." Su Lin slept very lightly. Zhou Hao knocked on her, and she woke up. He rubbed his eyes and said, "Zhou Hao, you are back?" Zhou Hao helped her sit up and scolded, "Why did you sleep in the living room? What if you catch a cold?" Hearing Zhou Hao's words of concern, Su Lin pouted slightly and said in a coquettish tone, "I want to wait for you to come back." She looked at the clock on the wall. "Who knew you wouldn't come back so late?" "I sat down and fell asleep." Zhou Hao was very touched when he knew Su Lin was still waiting for him to come back so late at night. He heard Su Lin say, "By the way, I made some Huaishan wolfberry stewed black chicken. I specifically called to ask Sister Sun to make it. It's already cold now. I'll let you drink it when it's hot." Zhou Hao knew that it was Su Lin's intention and could not bear to reject it, so he nodded and agreed. Su Lin immediately went to the kitchen to heat up the soup, then took it out and handed it to Zhou Hao. She said with anticipation, "You try it. I have stewed it for a few hours." 1. Zhou Hao took the fragrant hot soup and took a sip. He felt the rich fragrance of Mount Huai wolfberry and black chicken filling his mouth, making his stomach feel warm. How is it? Is the taste all right? Su Lin asked nervously. The taste is very good, Zhou Hao said and drank all the soup with relish. Su Lin, who was beside him, also had a warm smile on her face. She felt a sense of accomplishment even more than when she received the scholarship back then. After Zhou Hao finished drinking the soup, Su Lin said to him, "Quickly go take a shower and then sleep. I don't know where you want to play, but you are full of the smell of smoke and wine." Although Zhou Hao did not smoke or drink well, the casino was full of people and snakes, which made Zhou Hao smell bad. "Then you should go to sleep as well." Zhou Hao patted Su Lin's head and smiled. Then he went back to his room on the second floor. The next day, Zhou Hao and Su Lin went back to the company together. In fact, Zhou Hao had already made specific plans for the people in the company. He did not need to guide them one by one. However, with Zhou Hao in the company, he could always give the employees a sense of security and confidence. He could also operate the funds smoothly. However, Zhou Hao only stayed in the company for an entire morning. In the afternoon, he left the company's matters to Su Lin to handle. But he slipped out alone. Zhou Hao strolled around the downtown area of the Central District alone. The Central District was the central business district of Hong Kong. The people who worked here were the busiest in Hong Kong, and the streets were always filled with hurried citizens. Zhou Hao was leisurely walking in the middle of these people who were racing against time. From a bystander's point of view, he looked at those people who were busy with work all day long. He had a subtle feeling that everyone was sleeping, and he was the only one awake. After walking out of the bustling and noisy downtown area, Zhou Hao walked to a relatively quiet street and saw a flower shop on the other side of the street. The design of the flower shop was very elegant. Even the door of the shop was covered with all kinds of flowers, and the name of the flower shop was poetic, Butterfly Love Flower. Upon seeing this unique flower shop, Zhou Hao wanted to go in and see what was going on. When Zhou Hao arrived in front of this Butterfly Love Flower, he saw a very unique silver bell in front of the store covered in flowers. There was even a thin string attached to it. Zhou Hao lightly pulled, and the bell made a clear and melodious sound. The door of the shop also moved to the two sides. There were two young girls wearing long yellow apron inside. They smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "Welcome." These two girls looked to be only 17 or 18 years old. They were very youthful. As the saying goes, 178 no ugly girls. Although these two girls were not breathtaking, they were still lively and cheerful, especially the bright smile on their faces, which was different from the smiles of other professional espers. It made people feel that it came from the bottom of their heart. Also, there were all kinds of beautiful flowers in the flower shop. The fresh and refreshing fragrance of flowers hit Zhou Hao's face, making him feel refreshed. "Sir, please come in. May I ask if you want to buy flowers?" One of the girls welcomed Zhou Hao into the shop. Look. Zhou Hao smiled and walked around the small but elegant flower shop. The two girls, one followed Zhou Hao and was ready to serve him at any time. The other sat behind the counter, wrapped in paper. After walking around the flower shop, the girl next to Zhou Hao asked, "Sir, who do you want to give it to? Are they parents, patients, or female friends?" Zhou Hao smiled when he saw the girl's flowery smile. "If she is a female friend, what flowers should she give?" "That depends on how you feel about that girl, sir." The girl smiled. "Oh, then tell me. If you're just an ordinary friend, then give me a lily. If you're a lover, then of course I'll give you a rose." Zhou Hao thought for a while and said, "Actually, I am not a lover, but I have more than a normal friend." "Then what should I give you?" A cunning look flashed in the girl's eyes. She smiled and said, "Sir, do you have a good impression of that young lady, but you did not break that layer of paper? How should I put it?" Zhou Hao scratched his head awkwardly. "Actually, I don't know if I have any feelings for her. However, there are always good feelings." The girl tilted her head and thought for a while. Then she said to Zhou Hao, "Sir, I suggest you give me a lily, and then put an unbloomed red rose in it." Seeing Zhou Hao's puzzled expression, she explained, "Because a lily represents friendship, then it means that your current relationship is still friends. And the red rose represents love. The unbloomed rose means that the love between you two has yet to begin. If you two are fated, then it won't take long for the rose to bloom. In other words, there is a possibility between the two of you. What do you think?" After listening to the young girl's words, Zhou Hao felt that it was quite an ingenious idea. He then heard the young girl say, "If that young lady's thoughts are meticulous enough, she will definitely understand your intentions." "Not bad, young lady, you really know a lot," Zhou Hao praised sincerely. The young girl smiled shyly. "Actually, these were all taught by our lady boss." Speaking of her lady boss, Zhou Hao saw that the young girl's face was full of admiration and even admiration. "Our lady boss is very beautiful. She is gentle and capable. When she said this, her expression suddenly became a little gloomy. It's a pity that Lady Boss didn't marry well. This world is really unfair. Lady Boss is obviously such a good person, but she's also so unfortunate. Exion, don't speak nonsense. The other girl sitting behind the counter shouted softly. The girl also realized that she had said something wrong, so she smiled at Zhou Hao. I'm sorry, sir. I spoke too much outside of the topic. Oh, right. Are you going to gift Lily and Red Rose? We can deliver them to our doorstep. Just as Zhou Hao was about to agree, the phone in his arms rang. I'm sorry. Zhou Hao apologized to the girl and took out his phone. He saw Anai Yongxiao's number on the phone. Hello, it's me. What's wrong? Anai Yongxiao's voice came from the phone. My subordinate saw Fang Bingrun go to the Junyu Hotel with a woman. Zhou Hao could not help laughing. What's so strange about Fang Bingrun going to the hotel with a woman? But according to my people, that woman did not seem to be Fang Bingrun's lover. Fang Bingrun was very respectful to her, and he had never seen this woman in Hong Kong before. Hearing Anai Yongxiao's words, Zhou Hao slightly frowned. Do you suspect that woman is the person who suggested to Fang Bingrun the last time? Yes, that's why I want you to come and take a look with me, Anai Yongxiao said. Zhou Hao nodded. All right, I'll come over immediately. After putting down the phone, he said to the girl in front of him, Miss, I'm sorry. I have some urgent matters to attend to at the last minute, or I'll come visit you next time. It's fine. Take care, sir. The girl was still smiling. She was not unhappy at all that Zhou Hao did not spend money. After leaving this butterfly love flower, Zhou Hao immediately took a taxi to Wanzai, where the Junyu Hotel was located. The Junyu Hotel was one of the most famous five-star hotels in Hong Kong. It had excellent facilities and was famous in Hong Kong. The person Anai Yongxiao sent to follow Fang Bingrun was in a coffee shop next to the Junyu Hotel. Anai Yongxiao was hiding nearby. Zhou Hao did not plan to meet Anai Yongxiao, so he did not want to be discovered. Both of them used mobile phones to contact each other. My subordinate's name is Cell Phone. He's in a seat near the window in the coffee shop. He has a beard on his chin. Anai Yongxiao said over the phone. As soon as he walked into the coffee shop, Zhou Hao saw the person called Cell Phone. From that seat, he could see the entrance of the opposite Junyu Hotel. He must have seen Fang Bingrun and that woman enter the hotel from there. But just as Zhou Hao was about to walk over, he suddenly found this place. There was another person who was paying attention to the phone. Ever since he had been modified by the amber fruit and had cultivated the Qi nourishment records, Zhou Hao's sixth senses were much sharper than ordinary people. He remained silent and sat on the seat beside him. At the same time, he looked for the gaze of the person who was paying attention to the phone. The next moment, Zhou Hao discovered that behind the phone, there was an ordinary-looking man dressed in casual clothes who was separated by a few tables from him. Although he never looked at the phone directly from the beginning to the end, Zhou Hao knew that the man's attention had always been on the phone. Furthermore, Zhou Hao's intuition told him that the person wasn't from Hong Kong, nor was he from China. Zhou Hao immediately contacted Anai Yongxiao. Ask your man to go back immediately. I'm afraid that if he follows Fang Bingrun, he will also be targeted by others. Also, tell him to leave Hong Kong immediately. Don't meet him, or else he will expose you. Anai Yongxiao was shocked when he heard Zhou Hao say that his subordinate was being watched. He said nervously, Who is it? Is it Fang Bingrun's men? I don't know. I'll go and take a look. Let your man leave this place first. Zhou Hao said. All right. In less than a minute, he received a call from Anai Yongxiao. He was sitting there and paying attention to the phone at the entrance of the Junyu Hotel. Zhou Hao saw him say a few words and immediately left the cafe. As for the person who was watching him, he didn't leave immediately after seeing Anai Yongxiao leave. Instead, he waited for his cell phone to leave the cafe for more than half a minute. Only then did he follow him out, and Zhou Hao also quietly followed behind him. 1. When that person walked out of the cafe, his phone had long disappeared. However, he was not in a hurry. After looking around, he turned around and walked to the right. His footsteps were not very fast. He looked like an ordinary person, but Zhou Hao knew that that person had a very impressive light body technique. His seemingly ordinary footsteps could quickly shuttle through the crowd. Not long after, Zhou Hao saw the figure of a phone about 50 meters in front of the fellow. This guy's tracking skill is really amazing, Zhou Hao secretly exclaimed. Just now, he moved half a minute later than the mobile phone, but he was able to catch up to the mobile phone so quickly. Even Zhou Hao himself could not do this. The phone could not detect that someone was following him at all. He slowly walked to a quiet alley. The person behind wasn't in a hurry either. He was still 50 to 60 meters behind the cell phone. However, Zhou Hao did not have that much patience. He was in the alley where there were no signs of people. When the person wanted to follow the mobile phone around the corner, Zhou Hao used his light body technique and arrived behind the person without making a sound. Without saying anything, he reached out his right hand to grab the back of the person's neck. Unexpectedly, even though the person did not discover Zhou Hao in time, his instinctive reaction was surprisingly sharp, and he dodged to the side. However, although his instincts were much sharper than ordinary people's, the difference in strength between him and Zhou Hao was too great. There was no way he could avoid the crane show in Zhou Hao's Five Birds play. He immediately grabbed the back of Zhou Hao's neck. But even so, he did not wait helplessly for death. He reached his left hand to his waist, and a shiny black diamond-shaped weapon appeared in his hand. He fiercely stabbed it into Zhou Hao's ribs. When he saw this diamond-shaped sharp weapon, Zhou Hao was stunned for a moment. In his previous life, he had seen a little bit of Fire Shadow Ninja and recognized that this weapon was a hand sword commonly used by ninja. Although he was shocked, Zhou Hao's reaction was not slow at all. He raised his left hand and grabbed the man's left wrist. With a slight force, he broke the bone of the man's hand. Even though the man's arm bone was broken, he didn't even make a sound. This made Zhou Hao feel a little more confident in him. After snatching the sword from this man, Zhou Hao found out that this weapon was made of steel. The blades on both sides were extremely sharp. However, what surprised Zhou Hao the most was the identity of this person. From the way he used the sword in his hand, Zhou Hao suspected that this person was very likely ninja, and just now, he felt that this person didn't seem like a Chinaman. Zhou Hao pinched his neck and forced him to the wall. He said coldly, "Who sent you here?" But just as he opened his mouth, he realized something. If this person was Japanese, then he shouldn't know how to listen to Mandarin. He saw that even though this person was subdued by Zhou Hao, he did not show any signs of weakness as he looked directly at Zhou Hao. He even used a very contemptuous tone to squeeze out 3 words from his mouth. That person. F*ck the Japanese. Zhou Hao was furious when he heard that. He reached out and grabbed the elbow of Zhou Hao's right arm and squeezed it hard. There was a bone-cracking sound that made people shiver. The right elbow of the Japanese man was completely crushed by Zhou Hao. However, it was beyond Zhou Hao's expectation. Despite the pain, he didn't even make a sound. He bit his lower lip hard, and even his lips were broken. At this moment, Zhou Hao suddenly realized that there was something strange about this person's lips. Even though his lips were broken, there was no blood flowing out. Furthermore, even if this man didn't scream, he should be able to feel the pain. However, his facial expression didn't change, and it didn't even turn red. In an instant, Zhou Hao thought of a possibility. So, he let go of the hand that was on his neck and pulled open his collar. As expected, he found that the skin color on his neck was different from his lower chest. It was as if a normal person was suntanned. Zhou Hao immediately guessed that this person might have worn a mask. He reached out and searched for a while and found some clues. Zhou Hao found the edge of the mask and pulled it hard, pulling the mask off. However, after removing the mask, Zhou Hao, who was used to seeing blood, couldn't help but shiver. There wasn't a single strand of hair on his face or head. He didn't have a beard, eyebrows, or hair. Moreover, his eyelids, nose, and lips were all cut off. There were 2 small holes on his gums and teeth, which were his nostrils. His face was also extremely pale. His entire face looked like a skeleton, very frightening. This person's appearance. No, this person didn't even have a face to speak of. Zhou Hao guessed in his heart that this person's motive for carrying out such a cruel surgery was very likely to be to make it easier for him to change his appearance. Zhou Hao was also willing to conclude that this person was Ninja of Japan, because he had heard that Ninja of Japan had to undergo extremely cruel training and modification since he was very young. He was completely raised as a sacrifice soldier. Just as he thought of the word sacrifice soldier, Zhou Hao was suddenly shocked. The terrifying ninja also looked at Zhou Hao. Because he didn't have lips, it was hard for Zhou Hao to tell what his expression was. But from his eyes, Zhou Hao could clearly see a contemptuous smile. At the same time, a trace of black blood flowed out of his mouth, and his eyes that couldn't be closed quickly turned to ashes. Zhou Hao quickly touched his neck and found that he had no pulse. When he thought of the word sacrifice, Zhou Hao suddenly remembered that ninja was raised as a sacrifice. Once he fell into someone's hands, it was very likely that he would commit suicide in order to prevent interrogation. This did not let Zhou Hao guess wrong. This person's teeth had long been hiding cyanide poison. Once he bit through the poison sac hidden in his teeth, it would only take a few seconds for him to completely lose his life. D*****. Zhou Hao originally wanted to investigate who sent this ninja, but because of a moment of carelessness, he made this ninja commit suicide. He searched Ninja's body. Other than some crossguard darts and the hidden weapons Ninja used, he also found a small communication device. Zhou Hao knew that Ninja must have contacted his master at any time when he saw the communication device. The phone was used to follow Fang Bingrun, but now it was followed by Ninja. Therefore, Zhou Hao immediately thought that the person behind Ninja must have something to do with Fang Bingrun, and it was very likely that it was the woman he saw on the mobile phone. If she really was the master of Ninja, then she might also be a Japanese. For some reason, when he thought of the Japanese woman, Mrs. Tokugawa's seductive face appeared in Zhou Hao's mind. Furthermore, the plan that Fang Bingrun had used to assassinate Xiang Huaqiang was hard to predict. Now that he thought about it, it was very similar to Mrs. Tokugawa's plan. After leaving Ninja's corpse behind, Zhou Hao walked to a random phone booth on the street and called the police in an anonymous manner. After that, he turned around and quickly headed towards the Junyu Hotel. He wanted to make sure that the woman with Fang Bingrun was really Mrs. Tokugawa. If it was really Mrs. Tokugawa, then it definitely wouldn't be a good thing. Now that he thought about it, Zhou Hao had concluded that Fang Bingrun's assassination of Xiang Huaqiang might cause chaos in Hong Kong's underworld. At that time, Zhou Hao could not understand why Fang Bingrun would do that, because the alliance would definitely be involved in that disaster. Now, with Mrs. Tokugawa's interference, it was easy to explain. Mrs. Tokugawa's goal was obviously to cause Hong Kong's underworld to fall into chaos, so that she could achieve her goal. Fang Bingrun's existence was a chess piece in her hands, just like Dong Qishan. For more than a month, Xi and Ian had long found out that the gunman who assassinated Xiang Huaqiang was the Red Stick Gao Wintao of the Union Society. However, just as Zhou Hao had expected, because the evidence was too obvious, Xiang Huaqiang and the people on the streets all thought that it was not Fang Bingrun who did it. It was someone else who wanted to frame him, so Xiang Huaqiang did not take any action against the Union Society. Although Zhou Hao told Xing Yingpei that the real murderer of this matter was Fang Bingrun, he lacked evidence. Furthermore, he did not want the two biggest gangs in Hong Kong, Xi and Ian and the Alliance, to fight. So Xing Yingpei did not reveal this matter. However, because they couldn't find the true culprit, the people of Xi and Ian had become more and more noisy. The reason why Xiang Huaqiang spent such a large sum of money to set up a new gambling boat was probably because he had the intention of diverting the attention of the people in the club. But even so, Xiang Huaqiang would not stay silent for too long. In order to consolidate his position in the face of Xi and Ian, he would take action sooner or later. At that time, no one would be able to stop the Hong Kong underworld war. Very quickly, Zhou Hao arrived at the Junyu Hotel. As soon as he entered the lobby, a woman in a professional suit welcomed him. She asked with a smile, "Sir, may I ask if there is anything I can help you with? Do you want to eat or stay?" In order to get rid of this woman as soon as possible, Zhou Hao smiled and said, "I'll go up and have some afternoon tea. I'll go up myself. There's no need to trouble you." After saying that, he hurriedly walked up the stairs, leaving the depressed woman behind. When he came to the second floor, Zhou Hao went straight to the elevator. Intuition told him that Fang Bingrun must have booked a round suite at the Junyu Hotel. However, just as he arrived not far from the elevator, Zhou Hao heard an argument coming from the left, and the female voice sounded very familiar. He couldn't help but turn his head and look at the source of the sound. He saw a tall, brown-haired foreign man arguing with a woman. It seemed that the woman wanted to leave, but was stopped by the foreign man. Zhou Hao saw that woman. She was the female owner of the private restaurant, Hai Qishuan. The foreign man looked to be in his 30s, and he was quite handsome. He held Hai Qishuan's hand tightly and continuously praised Hai Qishuan's beauty. No matter what, he wanted to invite her to a meal. 4. Hai Qishuan said that she still had something to do and did not want to go to a meal with her. Their conversation was all in English. Luckily, Zhou Hao's English was very good, so he understood their conversation. He looked at the elevator, hesitating whether he should go find Fang Bingrun or help Hai Qishuan. If he delayed any longer, Fang Bingrun and Mrs. Tokugawa's woman might discover Ninja's death and quickly leave this place. But if they went to find Fang Bingrun, Zhou Hao could not bear to see Hai Qishuan get entangled with that foreign man. He looked at the elevator, then looked at Hai Qishuan who was entangled by that foreign man. In the end, Zhou Hao still sighed, turned around and walked towards Hai Qishuan. He walked to Hai Qishuan's side in a few steps and grabbed the foreign man's hand. He also asked coldly in English, "What do you want to do? Didn't you hear him say that he doesn't want to eat with you?" The foreign man's right hand was suddenly grabbed, and he immediately turned his head to look. He was indeed very tall, even a head taller than Zhou Hao, who was about 1.8 meters tall. He looked at Zhou Hao, who was a head shorter than him, and said disdainfully, "Who are you?" Hai Qishuan saw Zhou Hao's surprised look and could not help but call out, "Mr. Zhou." She took advantage of the moment when the foreign man was distracted to shake off his hand and quickly came to Zhou Hao's side. She said to Zhou Hao, "This guy insisted on dragging me to eat with him. I did not agree to it, and he also did not let me go." Zhou Hao nodded at her and saw Hai Qishuan currently wearing a black evening dress. Her voluptuous and alluring figure was vividly displayed, especially her snow-white legs under the skirt, which were even better than those of those supermodels. Coupled with her charming and beautiful face, it was no wonder that this foreign man would not let her go. "Quickly let go of me." At this moment, the foreign man shouted at Zhou Hao, "I am a resident of Great Britain. You yellow-skinned monkey, let me go." Zhou Hao knew that many Westerners like to call the Chinese yellow-skinned monkey. He heard the foreign man's words. He sneered and said, "You dare to be so arrogant in our country? Who said that this is China's territory? Before July 1st, this is still our British colony. You Hong Kong people are also our slaves." Although Zhou Hao was not a local of Hong Kong, as a Chinaman, he could not tolerate the foreign man's words. He cursed in Mandarin, "F***you." Then, he waved his hand and punched the foreign man in the face. Zhou Hao punched the Englishman in the nose. The sound of bones cracking could be heard from far away. The Englishman's nose bridge also collapsed, and his face was covered in blood. He screamed and covered his nose. He took a few steps back and fell to the ground. His right hand trembled as he pointed at Zhou Hao, but he could not say anything due to the pain. Zhou Hao stood there majestically and looked at him coldly. "This punch is for us Chinese to hit you." Hai Qishuan stood beside him and looked deeply at the heroic Zhou Hao. Her eyes flashed with a strange light. The commotion here had alarmed the surrounding people. A man in his 30s quickly walked over, followed by 4 hotel security guards. When he walked over, 2 of the 4 security guards immediately stood in front of Zhou Hao to prevent him from hitting him again. The man in his 30s, who was obviously the manager of the hotel, helped the British man up and asked in English, "What happened? Do we need to call the police?" Whenever there was a dispute between these guests, the hotel would usually first see if the 2 of them could resolve it privately. If not, they would leave it to the police. However, generally speaking, the hotel did not wish to alarm the police. After all, this would have a negative impact on their reputation. The British man immediately pointed at Zhou Hao and said, "Hurry up and call the police. I want to sue this guy for serious injuries to my body." Seeing that the British man was badly injured, the manager also knew that he should call the police. At the same time, he looked at Zhou Hao with some blame, as if blaming him for not being so impulsive. However, Zhou Hao did not show any signs of regret. Therefore, the manager had no choice but to take out his phone and call the police. Hai Qishuan, who was beside Zhou Hao, said to Zhou Hao, "Mr. Zhou, don't worry. I will testify for you." "Thank you, Sister Sun." Zhou Hao nodded and smiled. "I should be thanking you." Hai Qishuan revealed a charming smile. She looked at Zhou Hao and Hai Qishuan talking and laughing there. The British man got even angrier and kept yelling, "Why hasn't the police arrived yet? Why isn't the doctor here yet? Is Hong Kong's quality that bad?" His words made the hotel manager and the security guards angry, especially when the surrounding hotel guests saw him pestering Hai Qishuan just now. They felt even more disgusted with this British person. Zhou Hao looked at the elevator. His intuition told him that Fang Bingrun had already left the hotel, so he shook his head. In less than 10 minutes, the police and the paramedics arrived one after another. When they saw the terrible face of the British man, the police and the paramedics were shocked. They thought that the man had been beaten too badly. The paramedics immediately let him lie on the stretcher bed and push him to the ambulance. However, he still pointed at Zhou Hao, even though he was lying on the stretcher bed. He said to the policeman, It's him who beat me up just now. Quickly arrest him and bring him back. I must sue him." As he spoke, he was already pushed into the ambulance. 2 police officers came in front of Zhou Hao and said seriously, "Sir, please follow us back to assist in the investigation." Zhou Hao did not have any intention to resist. Seeing that they did not request to handcuff him, he was willing to cooperate. Hai Qishuan, who was beside him, took out her phone. "Hello, is this Lawyer Zhong?" "That's right, it's me. My friend and I have encountered some trouble. Please go to the police station. There are some things that I need your help with." The few policemen saw Hai Qishuan's extraordinary looks and her clothes were not ordinary. Now that they saw her immediately call the lawyer, they could not help but feel a headache because many rich people were very difficult to deal with. Furthermore, the entire legal division was behind them. After that, Zhou Hao and Hai Qishuan went to the police station. Before the police officer who was responsible for the statement could speak, Hai Chi-Xuan was the first to speak. That foreigner wants to sue Mr. Zhou, right? I can testify for Mr. Zhou. It was that foreigner who wanted to molest me that Mr. Zhou came over to stop him. Mr. Zhou did not count as beating him up. It should be self-defense. After a pause, she said again. Also, I want to sue that guy for molesting me. Not only the police, even Zhou Hao was stunned. The police didn't know what the real situation was. However, Zhou Hao had been there until the incident happened. Although the British had pestered Hai Chi-Xuan, it was not to the extent of molestation. Hai Chi-Xuan's words were clearly the first to be reported by the wicked. Even so, Zhou Hao would definitely not be so stupid as to take the initiative to confess. Instead, he did his best to cooperate with Hai Chi-Xuan's words. That's right. At that time, I thought about drinking afternoon tea in the hotel. I saw that British person on the way wanting to harm Miss Hai, so I went over to stop him. The police also found the few hotel guests who were there at that time. They all saw the British pestering Hai Chi-Xuan. Although they did not hear the conversation between the British and Hai Chi-Xuan, the English in the inn said that the Hong Kong people were British slaves, and they heard it clearly. This way, even the police developed a sense of disgust towards the English people. Later, Hai Chi-Xuan's representative lawyer also followed the police to the hospital to see the English person, saying that if the British did not withdraw the charges against Zhou Hao, she would officially sue him for molestation. According to the testimony of the witnesses, he had a very high chance of being convicted. You want to sue me for molestation? At that time, she was the one who flirted with me first, but now she wants to sue me for molestation? The British who had just finished bandaging heard Hai Chi-Xuan speak on behalf of her lawyer and scolded unwillingly. Mr. Jeffy, based on the testimony of my client and those witnesses, the probability of you being convicted will be very high. Especially since you spoke rudely, I don't think the judge will be biased towards you. Hai Chi-Xuan's representative lawyer said lightly. In the end, even though he was unwilling, under absolute disadvantage, this British man called Jeffy finally gave up on the charge against Zhou Hao. As for the police, the person who came to bail Zhou Hao out made those policemen stunned, because the person who came to bail Zhou Hao out was Zheng Yingpei's wife, Zheng Minjing. Zheng Yingpei was the number 2 person in the Hong Kong police force, and the policemen all recognized his wife. Now, not to mention that the British had given up on the charges against Zhou Hao. Even if Zhou Hao was really going to be charged, Zheng Minjing would personally come to bail him out, and the police would not dare to not let Zhou Hao leave. The reason why Zheng Yingpei sent his wife over was actually after careful consideration. If he came over himself, it would be inevitable that he would attract people to talk about him, saying that he was biased and that Zheng Minjing came over. No one would dare to say anything. At the same time, he also hinted to others that he had a close relationship with Zhou Hao. Zheng Mingjie treated Zhou Hao like her own nephew and said to him in the police station, "You young people are just impulsive. If there is anything, why can't you sit down and talk about it? Why did you start fighting?" Although her words were reproach, the police in the police station could hear her love for Zhou Hao, who asked him to have bad intentions towards Sister Sun. He even said those kinds of things. "I have already restrained myself with just one punch," Zhou Hao said with a snort. Hai Chi-Xuan, who was beside him, also said to Zheng Minjing, "Mrs. Zhang, it really has nothing to do with Mr. Zhou. It was that British person who went too far." Zheng Mingjie knocked Zhou Hao's head. "Seeing that you are a hero saving the damsel in distress, Auntie will spare you. If there is a next time, Uncle Pei and I will not care about you anymore. Let them detain you for 48 hours. After leaving the police station, Zheng Mingjie said to Zhou Hao, "Then I will go back and play mahjong." "All right, Auntie Zhu, you can do whatever you want with money." Zhou Hao smiled and said, making Zheng Mingjie laugh again and again. Zhou Hao looked at the beautiful Hai Chi-Xuan beside him and smiled at her. "Sister Sun, where are you going? I'll send you there in case you get entangled by those people with bad intentions again." 0. "I don't have anywhere else to go, Mr. Zhou." Hai Chi-Xuan smiled at Zhou Hao. "Thank you very much for what happened today. I don't have anything in return. I'll treat you to a private meal that I specialize in. I wonder if Mr. Zhou will reward you with the noodles?" Facing Hai Chi-Xuan, who was as charming as a rose, Zhou Hao found it very difficult to refuse. He scratched his head and smiled. "I can't take it. Also, Sister Sun, you don't have to call me Mr. Zhou. Just call me Xiao Hao like Annie Jiang." "All right then, Xiao Hao." Hai Chi-Xuan smiled sweetly and glanced meaningfully at Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao felt that Hai Chi-Xuan's eyes seemed to have a hook. She gently pressed on his body, and Zhou Hao was completely attracted to her. Therefore, Zhou Hao accompanied Hai Chi-Xuan to the nearby market to buy vegetables. Hai Chi-Xuan held onto Zhou Hao's arm the whole time, making those single people in the market who sold fish and meat jealous of Zhou Hao. What surprised Zhou Hao was that Hai Qixuan, who had both good looks and good looks, was also very talented in bargaining. So those male filmmakers naturally had nothing to do with it. Even those middle-aged women selling vegetables liked Hai Qixuan very much. Not only was the price cheap, but they also gave her a lot of food ingredients. After leaving the market, Zhou Hao smiled and said, "I didn't expect Sister Sun to be so good at bargaining. I might as well call you over when I come out to buy things in the future. It's basically half price and half gift." "Sure. As long as you call me, I'll definitely come over." Hai Qixuan held Zhou Hao's hand and smiled sweetly. Zhou Hao felt Hai Qixuan's chest full of breasts pressing against his arm. He felt that his blood was boiling. When he returned to Hai Qixuan's house, Hai Qixuan thoughtfully brought a pair of slippers for Zhou Hao and poured him a cup of hot tea. Then, she went to the kitchen to prepare food. Zhou Hao wore slippers and sat on the sofa in the living room. He looked at the arrangement in the room and found that there was not a picture of Hai Qixuan's husband in the entire room. He could not help but think of those sex novels where the male protagonist went to a charming widow's home. The two of them were alone and had a fiery passion. Zhou Hao couldn't help but turn his head to look at the kitchen. He saw Hai Qixuan skillfully cutting vegetables inside, but her slim and exquisite figure was very alluring. Seriously, what am I thinking? She invited me to dinner out of good intentions. How can I think of these things? Zhou Hao shook his head, trying to get rid of the messy thoughts in his mind. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The rhythmic sound of cutting vegetables could be heard from the kitchen, and there was also a fragrance wafting out. Zhou Hao, who was sitting on the sofa and watching the 6:30 news report, suddenly had a warm feeling in his heart. "Xiao Hao, it's time to eat." Hai Qixuan's voice came over. Zhou Hao immediately stood up and went to the kitchen to help her carry the dishes out. Hai Qixuan's dishes included stewed pork ribs, pickled vegetables, fish head pot, bean curd fried eggs, sour plum steamed fish, and a pot of pork bone soup. Seeing these delicious dishes, Zhou Hao, who was already hungry, couldn't help but want to pick up a piece of pork ribs to try. However, before his hand touched the rib, Hai Qixuan, who just came out of the kitchen, gently patted his hand. She pouted and said, "You are not allowed to eat secretly. Also, why don't you wash your hands? This is not a good habit. Quickly go and wash your hands." Zhou Hao could only withdraw his claws and obediently go to the kitchen to wash his hands before coming out. Hai Qixuan had already prepared food and soup for Zhou Hao and smiled at him. "Only then will you be obedient." The two of them sat beside the dining table, holding these extremely delicious side dishes. There was a kind of warm atmosphere between them. In particular, every time Hai Qixuan gently added food for Zhou Hao, her body would naturally reveal a kind and virtuous wife, like a gentle stream that warmed Zhou Hao's heart. Suddenly, Hai Qixuan looked at Zhou Hao and laughed. Just as Zhou Hao was in a daze, he saw her reach over and gently pick up a white rice grain from his mouth and put it into his mouth very naturally. "You are like my teacher. Every time you eat, you are like a child, always eating with one mouth." Looking at the beautiful Hai Qixuan, Zhou Hao suddenly felt very jealous of her deceased husband. He was jealous that he could marry such a good woman. He was jealous that he could enjoy the gentleness of this woman. "Oh right, how did you and your husband get to know each other?" Zhou Hao suddenly asked. Hai Qixuan was slightly stunned, and there was a trace of melancholy in her eyes. "He is 6 or 7 years older than me. When I was still studying in England, he was already the boss of 3 supermarkets. Once he came to our school to give a speech about his entrepreneurship experience, and the school sent me to help him organize his speech. That was how we met." Her thoughts sank into a continuous stream of memories. "After I graduated, we got married. I also came back to Hong Kong to be a full-time wife for him." Wiping the corners of her eyes, she smiled faintly. "All right, let's not talk about him anymore. It only makes us feel sad." After dinner, Zhou Hao felt that there was no point for him to stay here, so he said goodbye. "You are leaving so soon? I even made some sweet soup." Hai Qixuan seemed to be very reluctant to part with Zhou Hao. "I still don't want it. I still have some things to deal with when I go back." Zhou Hao said. Actually, he had nothing to deal with, but he could clearly see that Hai Qixuan was still very reluctant to part with her deceased husband. For some reason, he felt a very bitter feeling in his heart. He wanted to escape from this place and beg for this kind of feeling. Hai Qixuan sent Zhou Hao to the door, and Zhou Hao said to her, "Sister Sun, goodbye." Just as she was about to turn around and leave, Hai Qixuan suddenly leaned forward and quickly kissed the corner of Zhou Hao's mouth. Zhou Hao was stunned and looked at Hai Qixuan blankly. "Sister Sun, you?" I. Hai Qixuan's charming eyes suddenly revealed some shyness. Her eyes flickered and did not dare to touch Zhou Hao's eyes. It was as if she did not know why she did that. Seeing Hai Qishuan's look of not knowing what to do, a fire ignited in Zhou Hao's heart. He involuntarily took a step forward and wrapped his arms around her slender waist. He lowered his head and kissed her voluptuous and seductive red lips. After all, he had never been close to women ever since he came to Hong Kong. The flames of love that had become unusually strong because of the amber fruit were becoming more and more difficult to suppress. 0. Thinking of how he had offended Hai Qishuan on his own accord, Zhou Hao sighed. Could it be that I'm really not satisfied with what I want? When he returned home in a daze, he saw that the lights in the living room had turned on. Zhou Hao knew Su Lin had come back, but looking around, Su Lin was not on the first floor. When he returned, Zhou Hao suddenly remembered that he had forgotten to tell Su Lin not to come back to eat. Thus, he went to the second floor and wanted to go to Su Lin's room to find her. When he came to the door of Su Lin's room, he saw that the door was not closed. There was even a small gap. Just as he was about to open the door and enter, Zhou Hao suddenly saw Su Lin in the room through the gap in the door. He was completely stunned. Su Lin was currently standing by the bed. There were still quite a number of water droplets on her body, and her hair was also wet. Clearly, she had just finished bathing. What was even worse was that she only had a pair of white lace-patterned underwear on her. Other than that, there was not a single strand. It had to be said that Su Lin's innate capital was very superior. Usually, when she wore a professional dress, it would often cause male employees in the company to fantasize. Now, there was only a pair of underwear, especially when she had just taken a bath. That faint body fragrance quietly flowed in the air. To Zhou Hao, it was like a bee that had smelled the fragrance of flowers. The lust that Hai Qishuan had stirred up earlier once again burned passionately. Zhou Hao fiercely swallowed his saliva and could not help but push open the door and enter. He walked a few steps to Su Lin's back and hugged her. Su Lin, who was not mentally prepared, was shocked. Her first reaction was that there was a thief in the room, and she subconsciously wanted to call for help. But when she turned her head around, she saw Zhou Hao's face clearly. That cry for help was swallowed back into her stomach. No, Zhou Hao, no. She struggled violently. Woo! This was Su Lin's first kiss. She, who had never had this kind of experience, was also frightened by Zhou Hao for a moment. She instinctively gritted her teeth. It was also because Zhou Hao's hand touched her waist that made her unable to bear the itch that she let go of her mouth and completely fell under Zhou Hao's aggressive attack. Su Lin had imagined countless times when she kissed Zhou Hao, and there were also many such scenes in her dreams. However, reality was still very different from what she had imagined. It was a lot more wonderful and charming, making Su Lin fall in love with him for the first time. However, even though Zhou Hao's skilled and charming kiss made Su Lin's feelings confused, she still felt Zhou Hao's hand had hooked onto her underwear and was about to take off her underwear. At this moment, Li Ruolin's figure appeared in Su Lin's mind. After we reach Hong Kong, help me look after him. Li Ruolin's words also sounded by her ear. This time, Su Lin was like a plate of cold water that poured down on her head. She pushed Zhou Hao away with all her strength and said repeatedly, "No, no, no, Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao, you and Ruolin. We can't betray Ruolin." When Zhou Hao heard Li Ruolin's name, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He was shocked. He had quite a number of women. That's right. But Su Lin was Li Ruolin's good sister. If he also took her, then no matter how magnanimous Li Ruolin was, it would be hard to forgive him. Looking at Su Lin's tearful face, Zhou Hao pounded his head hard. What exactly happened to me? Woo. A minute. Seeing Zhou Hao beating his own head hard, he immediately grabbed his hand and cried, "Zhou Hao, don't be like this. It's none of your business. It's all my fault. It's my fault. It's all my fault. It's all my fault." Being grabbed by Su Lin's hands, although Zhou Hao stopped beating himself, he still felt uneasy in his heart, because he found that his emotions were getting harder and harder to control. Especially since Hai Qishuan picked him up just now, it was even harder to control. "Sorry, Su Lin," Zhou Hao said apologetically, then quickly got up and left the room as if he was running away. He was afraid that if he stayed for a while longer, it would be difficult for him to stay calm. If he hurt Su Lin, not to mention Li Ruolin, even he would not forgive himself. After rushing back to his room, Zhou Hao rushed into the bathroom. He turned on the tap to let the cold water wash his body and cool his passion. At the same time, he used the Qi Nourishment Records to calm his mind. However, what Zhou Hao did not expect was that the Qi Nourishment Records, which could help him calm his mind in the past, had now lost its effect. The genuine aura had been circulating the 8 extraordinary meridians in his body for a few days, but the raging fire in Zhou Hao's heart still didn't retreat. His mind was filled with Hai Qixuan's voice and smile, as well as Su Lin's charming body. After that were Zhao Yuqin, Li Ruolin, Yin Qingqing, Wang Shijuan, and Yang Jiabao. According to the green scriptures, if one is unhappy and has a restless heart, it is very easy for one to fall into deviatory psychosis. Could it be that I am showing signs of falling into deviatory psychosis? Zhou Hao muttered to himself. Thus, he sat cross-legged in the bathroom with his eyes tightly shut. He removed all distracting thoughts and suppressed the surging blood energy in his body. However, it was not easy to get rid of these distracting thoughts, especially Hai Qixuan's appearance. In his anger, Zhou Hao simply diverted his attention and started to think about the operation plan he had to implement in the coming bot depreciation. Making his mind filled with the data of various shares and foreign currencies, Zhou Hao could slowly calm down. The surging blood and qi in his body also gradually tamed, making Zhou Hao let out a long sigh. The reason why Zhou Hao was on the verge of going berserk was actually because of the amber fruit. Dr. Gongsun had once told Li Ruolin that the amber fruit was an item with the purest yang energy. After Zhou Hao absorbed all of its essence, his body's potential would be fully unearthed, and it would be even more powerful than the genuine aura that an ordinary person had cultivated for 100 years. Other than that, the amber fruit was the most potent aphrodisiac in the world. It was different from ordinary aphrodisiac, which made it effective immediately. Other than the fact that Zhou Hao had just consumed the amber fruit, which caused his beast nature to develop, the aphrodisiac effect of the amber fruit would not be revealed. However, not revealing it did not mean that it would disappear. The aphrodisiac effect of the amber fruit would gradually change Zhou Hao's physique over time and penetrate deep into Zhou Hao's nature. That was why Zhou Hao was so passionate and seldom felt guilty. The amber fruit had a huge impact on him. Furthermore, the amber fruit was a pure yang item. This caused Zhou Hao's yang energy to be extremely strong. As the saying went, the solitary yin did not grow, and the solitary yang did not grow. Zhou Hao needed to make love with a woman to achieve the harmony of yin and yang. That was why Dr. Gongsun had told Li Ruolin that Zhou Hao was destined to be haunted by peach blossoms in his life, and that he wanted her to be mentally prepared. Previously, due to the effect of the amber fruit's aphrodisiac effect on Zhou Hao, and with Li Ruolin by his side, Zhou Hao's body could still balance yin and yang. But now, the amber fruit had completely merged with Zhou Hao, and the effect of the amber fruit's effect on him was becoming more and more obvious with each passing day. That was why Zhou Hao's lust was hard to quell, and it wasn't easy for him to calm his heart down. In the next few days, Zhou Hao and Su Lin were still in the same relationship as before. No one mentioned what happened that night, as if nothing had happened. However, Zhou Hao had been tossing and turning every night for the past few days. He had been tortured by the fire of love to an unbearable degree. Even the method of diverting his attention was becoming more and more ineffective. He was deeply afraid that if this continued, he would really be unable to control himself and would rush into Su Lin's room to do that beast thing to her. There were several times when he wanted to move out of the hotel alone to stay for a few days, but he was also afraid that Su Lin would misunderstand that he disliked her. On this day, Zhou Hao borrowed a yacht from Xiang Huaqiang. Because he had promised Liang Xiaobing before that he would properly thank her, and he also saw that Su Lin had been working tirelessly for the company these few days. At the same time, he also wanted to go out to sea to relieve his boredom, so he invited the two girls to go out to sea with him to have some fun. Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin both had the same thoughts about Zhou Hao, so naturally they agreed immediately. Liang Xiaobing even pushed back the schedule for her advertisement because of this. Zhou Hao originally invited Hai Qixuan over as well, but when he thought of his rude behavior towards her that day, he did not know if she had forgiven him or not. And when he thought of her charming face, the blood in Zhou Hao's body would uncontrollably surge. He was deeply afraid that if he really saw Hai Qixuan, he wouldn't be able to control himself. So, in the end, he did not do it. Before this, Zhou Hao had learned how to drive a yacht from Xiang Huaqiang, because Xiang Huaqiang's yacht was very luxurious and very automated. Therefore, it was very easy to operate. Zhou Hao did not need long to learn how to operate it. Thus, under the clear blue sky, Zhou Hao brought Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing out to welcome the sea breeze. He picked up the white luxury yacht. Zhou Hao and Su Lin, Liang Xiaobing, toured Victoria Port for a while, then toured the area near Hong Kong and left the island. Finally, they sailed out of the open sea and left a beautiful white wave on the vast sea. Finally, Zhou Hao parked the yacht on the calm sea and came to the deck to enjoy the warm and brilliant sunlight. When he came down, he found that Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing were not on the deck. Just as he was about to call them, He saw the two girls walking out of the cabin with champagne and food in their hands. They even changed their clothes. They saw Su Lin's upper body. She was wearing a white singlet shirt, revealing her voluptuous curves. Below her was a pair of extremely short denim shorts, revealing a pair of snow-white long legs which dazzled the eyes under the sunlight. When she walked, she saw that her slightly lifted singlet would even reveal her deep and cute belly button. And Liang Xiaobing was wearing a yellow bikini. In reality, Liang Xiaobing's style in the entertainment industry was rather conservative. She rarely showed her sexy image to the public, and she had never taken any pictures of sexy or swimsuits. Zhou Hao did not expect that she would change into such a sexy bikini today. In the television series, Liang Xiaobing, dressed in ancient clothing, had a classical beauty, but her figure was also very good. One had to know that if one did not have enough capital, wearing a hanging bikini would be very ugly. And now, Liang Xiaobing was complimented by the bikini. According to Zhou Hao's estimation, Liang Xiaobing's upper circle should be between B to C. Su Lin, on the other hand, was more plump than Liang Xiaobing. Zhou Hao had seen Su Lin's naked body before and knew that her upper body should be at least above C. The two girls walked out from the cabin. They were indeed graceful, like a beauty walking out from a painting. Zhou Hao was also stunned when he saw them, especially since Zhou Hao would easily be aroused by them. Now that he saw the two girls who showed off their sexy figures, his lower body immediately reacted. Zhou Hao hurriedly pinched his legs to hide his embarrassment. Fortunately, he was wearing a loose beach pants, which was not very obvious, so the two girls did not see it. Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing took the champagne and snacks to the deck and sat on both sides of Zhou Hao. Su Lin looked at the boundless blue sky and smiled. The weather is very good today. Liang Xiaobing poured a glass of champagne for Zhou Hao. Yes, after letting people see it, my mood unknowingly became better. No matter how bad the weather is, as long as there are two beautiful women by my side, I can't be in a bad mood. Zhou Hao smiled and said. Hearing Zhou Hao's words, the two girls' faces turned slightly red, while Su Lin said on the other side, Xiaobing, don't be so easily fooled by him. This guy is the most glib. He doesn't even draft a script when lying. Regarding this, Liang Xiaobing only smiled lightly and did not say anything. In her heart, she thought that although Su Lin said so, she was also clearly happy because of Zhou Hao's words. The weather is so good. Why don't we swim in the water? Zhou Hao drank a mouthful of champagne and said. Liang Xiaobing was a little hesitant. This is the open sea. Will it be dangerous? Because the water here was very deep. If one was not careful, there would be the danger of drowning. Furthermore, Liang Xiaobing's bikini was not suitable for swimming. Su Lin said, That's right. Could there be sharks here? What are you afraid of? If there are sharks, I will immediately chase them away. Zhou Hao joked. There's a yacht coming towards us. Liang Xiaobing suddenly pointed to the sea in the distance and said. Zhou Hao and Su Lin also turned their heads to look when they heard that and indeed saw a similarly white yacht heading towards them. Looking over, Zhou Hao frowned. Although the distance between the two boats was very far, Zhou Hao's eyesight was very strong. At first glance, he could tell that the person on the boat was Su Jinsheng, whom he had met at Xianghuaqiang's Sea Whirlpool Gate. There were also a few girls in sexy swimsuits and several bodyguards. Suddenly, Zhou Hao saw Su Jinsheng shouting that his subordinates were fiddling with an instrument on the deck of the yacht. Upon closer inspection, Zhou Hao's expression changed drastically because the instrument that looked like a water cannon was clearly a large-caliber fishing gun, and the muzzle was aimed at his yacht. It turned out that Su Jinsheng had brought a few models with him to sail the sea in order to relieve his boredom. A few days ago, his father, Su Jiaming, found out that he had lost more than 10 million on Xianghuaqiang's gambling boat. He had scolded him harshly and even limited his financial support. The sect chief of Su family, Su Jiaming, was a very powerful man. No one in the family dared to go against his will, and Su Jinsheng had always been afraid of his father. After being scolded by Su Jiaming, Su Jinsheng, who was planning to use the energy in his family to settle the score with Zhou Hao, didn't dare to act rashly anymore. He stayed at home for a few days. Today, taking advantage of the fact that Su Jiaming had gone to Beijing with a few of the richest people in Hong Kong to meet the country's leaders, he secretly ran out to have fun. And just as his yacht sailed out of the open sea, he discovered another yacht on the surface of the sea. Xianghuaqiang's yacht had his own logo on it, so Su Jinsheng recognized it at a glance. He originally wanted to turn around and avoid Xianghuaqiang, but when Su Jinsheng took a look with the telescope, he found that Xianghuaqiang was not on the yacht at all. Instead, it was only Zhou Hao and Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing. Zhou Hao caused him to lose more than 10 million yuan in the Whirlpool Gate on the sea. Not only did he make a fool of himself in public, but he was also scolded by Su Jianming when he returned home. This made Su Jinxing hate Zhou Hao to the bone. Now that he saw Zhou Hao and the rest of the yacht parked alone on the surface of the sea, Su Jinxing became very angry. A malicious thought arose in his heart. There were no other ships within a few dozen miles of the sea surface. Su Jinxing let his bodyguards use the large-caliber fishing spear on the deck to attack Zhou Hao and the rest yacht. Originally, his bodyguards did not want to agree, but Su Jinxing promised to give them 100,000 Hong Kong dollars after they went ashore. Those bodyguards were not good people, and this was the international waters. They only hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Because Su Jinxing liked to show off, he paid attention to things that were different from others, so he installed a large-caliber fishing gun on his yacht. This fishing spear was much more powerful than an ordinary fishing spear. The fishing spear was as long as a javelin, and it was very powerful. It was made according to the specifications of shark hunting and whaling. Zhou Hao saw Su Jinxing and the others aiming the spear at him. He immediately shouted to Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing, "Go back to the cabin." As soon as he said that, he heard a bang. The javelin-like spear was already shooting towards them. Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing running around randomly might be even more dangerous, so Zhou Hao shouted, "Get down." At the same time, he quickly looked around and saw that there were no hard objects in the surroundings. He picked up the bottle of champagne on the deck and caught the trajectory of the rapidly shooting fishing gun. Then, he suddenly threw the bottle in his hand out. Zhou Hao's hand strength was very strong and accurate. The bottle hit the fishing spear in the air, but because the bottle was fragile, even though it hit the fishing spear, it did not hit it down. It only missed. The fish gun turned around and hit the boat over there. It even pierced through the shell and broke into the cabin. Zhou Hao couldn't help but feel lucky. Luckily, he didn't let the two girls go to the cabin. Otherwise, they might have gotten their hands on it by now. *M*, that was clearly intentional murder just now. Zhou Hao cursed fiercely. If he hadn't thrown out the bottle just now and deflected the fishing spear would have most likely hit the two girls who were still alive. Zhou Hao's body was as tough as copper, so he wasn't afraid. However, the two girls were so delicate that even if they were scratched, it wouldn't be a beautiful thing. In a fit of rage, Zhou Hao quickly walked to the edge of the boat and grabbed the steel rope attached to the back of the fish spear with one hand. He pulled it with his bare hands. The rope of the fishing spear was connected to the launcher on Su Jinxing's boat. Under Zhou Hao's immense strength, Su Jinxing's boat in the distance was immediately pulled over. Zhou Hao's strength shocked Su Jinxing and his bodyguards. Su Jinxing quickly ordered his men to start the engine of the yacht and let it move back. Since it was on the water surface, even though Su Jinxing's yacht was moving back, Zhou Hao's yacht kept getting closer to Su Jinxing and his bodyguards. As they got closer and closer, Su Jinxing also saw Zhou Hao's furious expression. He could make the two boats approach with his bare hands. Su Jinxing quickly shouted to the bodyguards on the deck, "Hurry up and shoot him to death. Quick. If there's anything, I'll bear it." Hearing what Su Jinxing said, the bodyguards were also shocked by Zhou Hao, so they took out their pistols at the same time. When Zhou Hao saw them take out their pistols, he immediately said to Liang Xiaobing, who wanted to get close to him, "Stay on the deck and don't come over." At the same time, he also shook the steel rope in his hand hard, causing Su Jinxing's yacht to shake from side to side, making the bodyguards on the deck unable to stand stably and even more unable to shoot. Su Jinxing, who could not stand stably, hurriedly grabbed the railing beside him, and the woman beside him, who he brought, also staggered and wanted to grab him to stabilize herself. However, he heard Su Jinxing curse, "F***CKU. Don't implicate lousy." As he spoke, he used his right hand to push the woman. With the shaking of the yacht and Su Jinxing's push, the woman screamed and fell out of the yacht and onto the sea. Su Jinxing ignored the woman when she fell into the sea. He walked into the cabin and took out a signal gun. He walked or crawled to the deck. He fired at Zhou Hao's boat that was getting closer and closer. The bullet from the signal gun flew through the air and landed on the control panel of Zhou Hao's boat. After that, it suddenly exploded, turning the control panel into a mess. Zhou Hao also waited until the explosion to understand that it was a signal bullet. He quickly looked towards the deck and saw Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing squatting there with their heads held. Luckily, there were no traces of injuries. But Zhou Hao was even angrier at this time. The distance between the two boats was less than 20 meters. Zhou Hao was too lazy to pull the rope and directly jumped up. His strong body flew across the air and landed firmly on the deck of Su Jinxing's boat. Su Jinheng and his bodyguards were stunned by Zhou Hao, who was like a divine weapon that descended from the sky. Zhou Hao did not say anything. Without saying anything, He grabbed Su Jinxing's collar and lifted him up. Then he slapped Su Jinxing on both sides of his face. Su Jinxing's face was swollen, and a few of his teeth were knocked out. Su Jinxing was slapped more than 10 times by Zhou Hao, and his ears were ringing. His bodyguards saw that their master had been slapped. Just as they were about to make a move, they saw Zhou Hao grab Su Jinxing's neck and shout at them, "Don't move, or I will throw him into the sea." The bodyguards immediately stopped moving, not daring to act rashly. Zhou Hao! Zhou Hao! At this moment, Zhou Hao heard Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing anxiously calling him. He looked over and found that the control panel of Xiang Huaqiang's yacht was on fire. Obviously, it was caused by the signal flare from the explosion. D***, let's see what you did. Zhou Hao scolded Su Jinxing. He raised his fist and punched Su Jinxing in the stomach. The punch made Su Jinxing bow like a shrimp. He could not even speak. Zhou Hao also said to the bodyguards in front of him, "Quick, drive this yacht over." Su Jinxing was still in Zhou Hao's hands, so the bodyguards did not dare to disobey him. They quickly controlled the yacht to approach Xiang Huaqiang's yacht. When the two boats were less than 1 meter apart, Zhou Hao asked the bodyguards to stop the boat and said to Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin, "Come over here quickly." He also extended his right hand towards them. The two girls immediately got off the boat with Zhou Hao's help. Zhou Hao then said to the bodyguard, "You guys, go over there." The bodyguards looked at each other and hesitated. But Su Jinxing was still in Zhou Hao's hands. If something happened to him, Su family would not let them go. Although it would not take their lives, they would not be able to gain a foothold in Hong Kong in the future. Therefore, after hesitating for a moment, they jumped onto the yacht one after another. As for the models that Su Jinxing brought, they also jumped over. Zhou Hao said to them, "If you don't want the yacht to sink, then quickly put out the fire." One of the bodyguards shouted to Zhou Hao, "We have already done what you said. Hurry up and let go of our boss." 4. Never mind. It's useless to keep him anyway. Zhou Hao looked at Su Jinxing, who was beaten up like a pig, and threw him into the sea. Su Jinxing was not good at swimming, and he had been beaten up by Zhou Hao, so he immediately shouted for help when he fell into the sea, and the two bodyguards immediately jumped down to save him. Zhou Hao looked at Su Jinxing, who was in the sea. With a cold snort, he kicked off the fishing gun launcher on the deck and threw it into the sea. Then he drove Su Jinxing's yacht away slowly. "Zhou Hao, we will leave them there. Will they be all right?" Liang Xiaobing was a little worried. "Don't worry. They will not die, even though the navigation and operating system of the yacht may be damaged. But the bottom of the boat is not worn, and there is a lot of food on it. They can always last 1 or 2 days. When the time comes, someone will go and save them." Zhou Hao was still unable to calm his anger. "It's just that the yacht was lent to me by Fifth Brother. Now that it has become like this, how can I explain it to Fifth Brother? I really should have killed that Su Jinxing just now." Su Lin came to his side and smiled. "Forget it. You beat him up and made him drink so much water in the sea. He still needs to be trapped in the sea for 1 or 2 days. It is already miserable enough. I really hope that the communication equipment on the yacht is also broken. I will not call the police when I go back. It is also good to let Su Jinxing stay in the sea for 2 more days." Zhou Hao cursed fiercely. When Xiang Huaqiang found out about this, he first cared about whether Zhou Hao and the others were injured. After that, he started scolding Su Jinxing. Because Xiang Huaqiang loved that yacht very much, and he had specially ordered it from England. Now that it had been destroyed by Su Jinxing, he would naturally be angry. At the same time, he said to Zhou Hao over the phone, "But you have taken his yacht now. I am afraid you will bite me when we go back. After all, the Su family has a good relationship with the government." "Who's afraid of who?" Zhou Hao curled his lips. "I still want to sue him for intentional murder." He thought for a while, then said to Xiang Huaqiang this way, "In order to not let him catch evidence, Fifth Brother, send a boat over to pick us up." According to Zhou Hao's plan, he would immediately call the police after returning to Hong Kong and sue Su Jinxing for wounding and snatching the ship. Zhou Hao would sink Su Jinxing's ship and pretend that Su Jinxing and the others had thrown it into the sea. After that, he would be rescued by the fishing boats passing by. As Xian had some smuggling business, there were a few fishing boats that were very easy to operate. As for Su Jinxing and the others, after they returned to Hong Kong, because his yacht had been sunk by Zhou Hao, there was no way for them to say that Zhou Hao had stolen his yacht. As for the testimony of his bodyguards and women, due to the fact that there was a benefit involved, no one would believe it. Therefore, Zhou Hao told Xiang Huaqiang where he was and asked him to send a boat over to pick up Su Lin and himself. Fifth Brother's boat will take 3 to 4 hours to get here. During this time, we will enjoy Su Jinxing's boat. Zhou Hao smiled at Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing. Su Jinxing's yacht had a complete set of facilities. In addition to the owner's room and bathroom, there was also a special bar. There were all kinds of famous wines stored inside. However, Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing were not that keen on drinking, so they chose to taste the sweeter champagne. At this moment, Su Lin opened the wine cabinet at the end of the bar and saw a bottle of champagne inside. The color of the champagne was crystal clear and delicate, and it looked very attractive. Su Lin took out the champagne and Zhou Hao said, "Such a big wine cabinet only has this bottle of champagne. It must be a rare treasure. Anyway, it's Su Jinxing's stuff. It's a waste not to drink it. Let's bring him to have a taste." After hearing Zhou Hao's words, Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin also agreed with a smile. When he opened the bottle, there was a strong but not greasy fragrance of wine that overflowed from inside. Zhou Hao poured a cup for himself and the two girls, then raised it and lightly touched it. "Cheers." The three of them smiled and said. Zhou Hao raised his head and drank the champagne in one gulp. Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing also took a sip. Feeling that the taste of the champagne was really good, he couldn't help but drink half a cup. But once the wine entered his stomach, Zhou Hao immediately realized that something was wrong, because the wine in his stomach seemed to have turned into a ball of fire-burning Zhou Hao's dantian. And this feeling was also familiar to Zhou Hao. When he was in Yangzhou, Xueqiao wanted to drug Li Rulin and Su Lin. Zhou Hao saw through his intention and drank the wine that was mixed with medicine on behalf of the two girls. That was the feeling at that time. However, Zhou Hao's physique was already immune to all poisons. The medicine was immediately dissolved by the genuine aura in Zhou Hao's body the moment it entered his body. In reality, this bottle of champagne had indeed been drugged by Su Jinxing, which was why it was specially placed in a separate wine cabinet. He planned to bring the woman to his yacht to let them drink it. Although the women were willing to give it to Su Jinxing for all kinds of benefits, Su Jinxing thought that it would be more interesting if there was medicine to help. That was why he deliberately prepared this champagne that had been added with medicine. However, before the models that Su Jinxing brought today drank, Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing inadvertently suffered. The effect of this medicine was very fast. In less than half a minute, the two girls felt their entire body heat up and their cheeks turn red. "Zhou Hao, is there an air conditioner in this yacht? I'm so hot." Liang Xiaobing frowned and said, "Me too. It's so hot." Su Lin grabbed her collar and shook it as she fanned it in. But this way, Zhou Hao saw the alluring scene in front of her chest. The two of them did not realize that they had taken the medicine. Moreover, their beautiful eyes slowly became blurred, as if they were covered with a layer of watery mist. Liang Xiaobing could not help but put her hand into her bikini swimsuit, while Su Lin unbuttoned the buttons of her denim shorts, revealing the white underpants inside. "Zhou Hao, I'm so hot." Su Lin saw Zhou Hao in front of her, and an impulse rose in her heart. She really wanted to lean in his arms and let him love her. "Zhou Hao." Liang Xiaobing looked at Zhou Hao with tender eyes. She even put the impulse in her heart into action. She could not help but fall into Zhou Hao's arms. She held his waist tightly and raised her head to kiss the corner of his mouth and his face. Su Lin saw that Liang Xiaobing had already attacked Zhou Hao. She also couldn't help but walk over to Zhou Hao's side and hug his arm. She kissed Zhou Hao's neck and muttered to herself, "Zhou Hao, I really like you." They secretly admired Zhou Hao in their hearts, but they did not express it because of various reasons. Now, those medicines had shattered all their restraints and scruples, allowing them to express their true feelings and wishes. Under the temptation of the two girls, Zhou Hao's heart seemed to have ignited a raging flame. It wasn't because the herbs he drank just now had an effect on him. The amber fruit was originally the most powerful thing, and those herbs couldn't affect Zhou Hao at all. Zhou Hao was the one who was the most affected. It was because Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin were getting more and more excited with the temptation. It was only after Zhou Hao exploded that he felt indescribably comfortable, as if he was floating in the clouds. 2. He also felt that his body was filled with energy. The genuine aura in his body circulated rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, he could circulate it for a few cycles. At the same time, the unpleasant feeling and uneasiness that he had felt earlier vanished without a trace. At this time, the two girls had also woken up. Liang Xiaobing was still a little better. Su Lin felt that she had betrayed Li Rulin, especially when she was the one who took the initiative just now. That sense of shame and guilt was even heavier, and she could not help but shed sparkling tears. Since Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing had both become his women, Zhou Hao naturally did not want to see them sad. He reached out both of his hands to embrace the two girls, and at the same time, he said to Su Lin, "Su Lin, this is not your fault. It is all that Su Jinxing's fault. He actually drugged the wine. Hearing what Zhou Hao said, Su Lin cried even more sadly, because she thought that Zhou Hao wanted to push the blame of this matter onto the medicine and cut herself out. However, she heard Zhou Hao say, "Su Lin, don't be sad. I will take responsibility for you. And I also like you. No matter what you mean, I will not let you go from now on." Su Lin looked at Zhou Hao faintly and sobbed. "Then, what should we do with Ruolin? I will explain to Sister Lan. Don't worry, I will not let you suffer." Zhou Hao kissed Su Lin's forehead as he spoke. "Yes, I will listen to you." Now that she had become this man's woman, Su Lin was even more obedient to him. Zhou Hao also turned his head and said to Liang Xiaobing, "Xiaobing, I..." Liang Xiaobing reached out her finger and pressed it against Zhou Hao's lips. "You don't need to say anymore. I just did it voluntarily and I don't regret it." She shrank her body and moved closer to Zhou Hao's embrace. At the same time, she put her head on Zhou Hao's shoulder. She said softly, "I only hope that you don't treat me like a plaything like those rich kids." "How can that be?" Zhou Hao hugged Liang Xiaobing's jade body tightly. "I was afraid that you would treat me like a gigolo." Liang Xiaobing, who originally had feelings, suddenly heard Zhou Hao's words and could not help but laugh. She rolled her eyes at him and said, "I told you so seriously, but you treated it as a joke. Xiaobing, this bad guy has such a glib tongue. I'm afraid we will have to suffer in the future." Su Lin said on the other side. Originally, the two girls knew that they were interested in Zhou Hao and secretly regarded each other as competitors. However, now that both of them had offered their pure bodies to Zhou Hao, they had a tacit understanding and intimacy with each other. They did not feel jealous of each other. At this moment, Zhou Hao looked at the clock on the wall. It was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He, Su Lin, Liang Xiaobing, and the others actually spent more than 3 hours fooling around. According to the time, the ship sent by Xiang Huaqiang should have arrived. Sure enough, the speaker's voice came from outside. "May I ask if Mr. Zhou Hao is in the boat? We were sent by Mr. Chao to pick you up." Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin immediately grabbed Zhou Hao's arm. "Zhou Hao, quickly go out and block them. Don't let them come in and see us like this." Zhou Hao immediately got up and put on his beach pants. Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing also wanted to get up, but with just a slight movement, their lower bodies were burning with pain, making them shiver all over and also deeply frown. The two women could only help each other up and limped into the bathroom to wash themselves. In addition, they did not want anyone other than Zhou Hao to see their swimsuit appearance, but their original clothes were left on Xiang Huaqiang's yacht. Fortunately, Su Jinqing's yacht also had many women's clothes, which made it convenient for Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin. After Zhou Hao came out of the cabin, he saw a fishing boat not far away. The hull of the fishing boat was made of wood. It was a traditional fishing boat for Hong Kong fishermen. There were also old tires hanging on both sides of the boat. On the deck of the fishing boat, there were a few muscular men. Their skin color was very dark. It seemed that even if they were not real fishermen, they were still people who often ran on the sea. Seeing Zhou Hao, the leader of the men in his 40s shouted, "Is this Mr. Zhou?" "Yes, I am." Zhou Hao replied. "Mr. Zhou, we were sent by Mr. Duan to pick you up. What about the other two young ladies? You guys wait for a while. They will only come out after a while." Zhou Hao said and returned to the cabin. He saw the two ladies stumbling out of the bathroom and changing their clothes. Seeing the two women turning and turning, Zhou Hao also understood that their injuries were not light. He could not help but feel apologetic in his heart. However, the two girls didn't have any intention of blaming him. They were just afraid that others would guess something if they saw him like this. Since Xiang Huaqiang's ship had arrived, there was no need for Zhou Hao and the others to stay here. However, Su Jinqing's boat also had many good things, especially the famous wine in the bar. The value of the wine itself was very high. Zhou Hao had decided to sink the yacht anyway, so there was no need to let these things sink into the sea. Therefore, Zhou Hao asked the men on the fishing boat to help move all the valuable things on the yacht, including the famous wines, onto the fishing boat. After that, Zhou Hao put the explosives brought by the men on the boat, and then moved to the fishing boat with Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing. When the fishing boat was about 1,000 meters away from the yacht, Zhou Hao nodded at the man. The man also nodded and pressed a remote in his hand. Boom! After the violent explosion, a ball of fire appeared on the distant yacht. The entire yacht was also blown in half and quickly sank to the bottom of the sea. Zhou Hao asked the man beside him in surprise, "What kind of explosives are those? They are so powerful." "C4. The man replied. Zhou Hao was secretly shocked. He thought that Xian's power was really great. He could even get C4 explosives. It was already evening when they took this fishing boat back to Hong Kong. Xiang Huaqiang also personally came to the dock to pick up Zhou Hao and the others. Xiao Hao, are you all right? Zhou Hao shook his head. I'm fine. I even brought back a lot of famous wine for you. Oh right. Did Su Jinsheng and the others come back? No, we haven't heard from them yet, Xiang Huaqiang said. Then let's call the police first. Tell them that Su Lin and I were attacked by Su Jinsheng and the others in the open sea, and they even threw us into the sea. Humph, humph, we can't let Su Jinsheng go this time. Zhou Hao said. Xiang Huaqiang also agreed with Zhou Hao. Yes, I still need them to compensate me for the money on my yacht. After that, Zhou Hao called the police and called Zheng Yingpei. He told Zheng Yingpei everything that had happened, and Zheng Yingpei was very angry when he heard that. He had no intention of stopping Zhou Hao from making the first move to sue Su Jinsheng. Although Zhou Hao's actions were not appropriate, Hong Kong's police always paid attention to evidence. As long as the evidence was conclusive, Su Jinsheng could be convicted. Due to Hai Qishuan and the British, many people in the police station knew that Zhou Hao and Zheng Yingpei had a good relationship. Therefore, after receiving his report, they immediately started investigating the case. At the same time, they also started searching for Su Jinsheng. Because Zhou Hao provided the location where he was attacked by Su Jinsheng, the police quickly found Su Jinsheng and the others in the open sea. The fire on Xiang Huaqiang's yacht had already been extinguished by Su Jinsheng's bodyguards, but the navigation, control, and communication systems of the yacht were all seriously damaged. If it wasn't for the police, they would probably have to stay on the sea for a few more days. However, before Su Jinsheng could rejoice over his rescue, the police cuffed him. What are you doing? What are you doing? Su Jinsheng immediately shouted. Now, someone is accusing you of deliberately damaging other people's belongings and murder. Follow us back for investigation. The police officer said coldly. What he hated the most was Su Jinsheng, a young master who went around causing trouble because he had money in his family. Without allowing Su Jinsheng to refute or allow his bodyguards to resist, the police took them onto the police boat. As for Xiang Huaqiang's seriously damaged boat, it was dragged back. After returning to Hong Kong, Su Jinsheng found out that Zhou Hao and the others not only came back early, but also called the police first. In the police station, Su Jinsheng naturally said that he did not attack Zhou Hao and the others' yacht. He even said that it was Zhou Hao who robbed his yacht. However, the police sent forensics personnel to investigate and found that the fishing gun was still on Xiang Huaqiang's yacht. Many of the rich kids in Hong Kong knew that Su Jinsheng's yacht was equipped with a large-caliber fishing gun. In addition, Su Jinsheng and the rest were discovered by the police on Xiang Huaqiang's yacht. On the other hand, the fishermen also said that they found Zhou Hao and Su Lin drifting on the sea while fishing. Even though Su Jinsheng's bodyguards and the models all said that it was Zhou Hao who took away Su Jinsheng's yacht. However, since Zhou Hao had sunk the yacht, Su Jinsheng and the others did not have any other evidence. Therefore, the possibility of Su Jinsheng being convicted was much higher than Zhou Hao being convicted. In the end, this matter also alarmed Su Jiaming, who was far away in Beijing. Currently, he was meeting with a few other Hong Kong tycoons and country leaders. He was trying to obtain preferential conditions to enter the local market, but he was interrupted by Su Jinsheng's matter. Su Jiaming thought that if Su Jinsheng's matter affected the higher-ups' impression of him, then it would be a huge loss. Therefore, he scolded his son over the phone and asked him to apologize to Xiang Huaqiang and compensate for the losses of the other party. At the same time, he also informed the police, hoping that this matter could be settled with a settlement outside the court. There was another important reason for Su Jiaming to do so, which was that he met Zhao Rixin, who was the general committee of the political bureau. Although this leader, who had experienced a few wars and had countless merit points, did not have a good impression of Su Jiaming and the other merchants. However, Su Jiaming had deliberately understood Zhao Rixin's situation. He also knew that Zhao Rixin had a son who served as a commander in the Guangzhou military region and a daughter who was both handsome and talented. Recently, he had also taken in a godson called Zhou Hao. 0. There was news that Zhou Hao was currently in Hong Kong. Therefore, Su Jiaming was deeply afraid that his son would offend him. It was that Zhou Hao. That was why he immediately asked Su Jinsheng to apologize to him. He might be the godson of Chang Zhao? Su Jinsheng asked Su Jiaming over the phone. Not sure yet, Su Jiaming said, but having more friends is better than having more enemies. Hurry up and apologize to them, or else I will teach you a lesson when I come back to Hong Kong. In fact, Su Jinsheng was already sure that Zhou Hao was Zhou Hao. Because Xiang Huaqiang had tried to rope Zhou Hao in earlier, he had already found it strange. Now he heard from the police that Zhou Hao had a conflict with a British man a few days ago. It was Zheng Yingpei's wife who had come to bail him out. However, Even though he knew Zhou Hao was Zhao Rixin's godson, Su Jinsheng still could not put down his face and apologize to Zhou Hao. In the end, he only agreed to compensate Xiang Huaqiang for the loss of the yacht. Zhou Hao didn't expect Su Jinsheng to apologize to him, but since Su Jinsheng agreed to compensate Xiang Huaqiang for the loss, Zheng Yingpei also told Zhou Hao that he had received a call from Su Jiaming and hoped that this matter wouldn't get out of hand. Therefore, in the end, Zhou Hao treated this as a favor from Zheng Yingpei and removed the charges against Su Jinsheng. After a series of events had ended, it was already 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Zhou Hao sent Liang Xiaobing back and even helped her to walk to the front door of the house. "Why don't you stay at my place for a few days? I can take care of you," Zhou Hao said to Liang Xiaobing, who had difficulty even walking. "No way. What if the reporters find out?" Liang Xiaobing asked. Liang Xiaobing said, "But if I miss you, you have to come and see me." "Okay, but remember to apply for a few days of leave from the company. Don't exercise these days." Zhou Hao smiled helplessly. "I know. Why are you even more long-winded than me?" Liang Xiaobing smiled and said, "All right, go back quickly. Su Lin is still waiting for you in the car." After saying that, she kissed Zhou Hao on the lips before returning to the house. When she got out of the car and returned to the car, Su Lin, who was sitting in the passenger seat, smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "It took you so long to get out of the car. Are you reluctant to leave?" Zhou Hao pinched her nose. "Why? Are you jealous?" "I'm not jealous of you." Su Lin wrinkled her nose at Zhou Hao and suddenly sighed again. "Zhou Hao, do you think Rulin will forgive us if she knows about us?" Her face also revealed a deep worry. Because to her, the actual relationship she had with Zhou Hao was a kind of betrayal towards Li Rulin. Actually, Zhou Hao was also very worried about this. After all, Su Lin seemed to be Li Rulin's good sister. Now that the two of them had a real relationship, it was equivalent to cheating and betraying Li Rulin. However, even if Zhou Hao himself was worried, as a man, he still comforted Su Lin and said, "Don't worry. Even if Sister Lan will be angry, she will still forgive us. Instead, it is you who is by my side now. Besides you, Sister Lan and Xiaobing are also by my side. Are you really willing to stay by my side?" Su Lin smiled as if she was smiling. "Now that I am already yours, do you still have a choice? Besides, didn't you also say that you would not let go of me? Even if I choose to leave, you will let me leave?" "Of course not." Zhou Hao smiled and went over to kiss her forehead. The two of them returned to the half-mountain villa. Now that Zhou Hao and Su Lin had such a relationship, Zhou Hao naturally would not let Su Lin sleep alone on the second floor. He let Su Lin move into his room. The two of them took a bath in Zhou Hao's room. Even though they had met Zhou Hao once, Su Lin was still a little shy. However, since Zhou Hao had seen and touched her entire body, she let Zhou Hao do as he pleased. Zhou Hao admired Su Lin's beautiful body with interest. Su Lin's figure was very proportionate, and her height was 1.7 meters. Especially her legs, which were even more slender and charming than those famous models. A long time ago, Zhou Hao had been secretly paying attention to her who was wearing a skirt and stockings. Su Lin's chest was also very full, and it was also snow white and pink, as if it could be squeezed out of water. Under Zhou Hao's light touch, Su Lin's entire body went limp as she leaned into his embrace. Zhou Hao gently said, "Does it still hurt?" Su Lin slightly nodded her head. "Don't worry. It will be fine in 2 days." Zhou Hao pitifully let Su Lin lean into his arms. "Do you want me to apply some ointment on you?" Su Lin shook her head. "But this pain reminds me that I am now your woman. I don't want to lose this feeling so quickly." Zhou Hao was very touched when he heard Su Lin's affectionate words. He couldn't help but kiss her. After coming out of the bathroom, the two of them lay on the bed and hugged each other tightly. Su Lin smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "In the past, I always dreamed that I could wake up in your arms in the morning. Now it has finally come true." "Silly." Zhou Hao nodded at her nose. Zhou Hao and Su Lin went on a blind date. There was a reaction from her lower body. Su Lin, who had sensed it, quickly shook her head and said pitifully to Zhou Hao, Don't come again. Can you come back in a few days? I really can't stand it." "Don't worry. How can I bear to torture you again? It's just a natural reaction," Zhou Hao said with a smile. At the same time, he blamed himself for not being able to live up to his expectations. He kept circulating the genuine aura to restore his lower body to normal. He gently hugged Su Lin and said, "Su Lin, can I tell you a secret?" "Hmm? What secret?" Su Lin was also looking forward to it, because Zhou Hao was able to share the secret with her. It meant that he no longer treated her as an outsider. She heard Zhou Hao smile and say, "Guess how old I am this year?" Su Lin tilted her head and thought for a while, then said, I should be 23 or 24 years old. Oh, actually, I just turned 16. Zhou Hao smiled and said, I don't believe it. Su Lin also smiled. In fact, she had never doubted Zhou Hao's age. Zhou Hao's appearance was no different from a grown man in his 20s. Moreover, he had created such a huge fortune with his bare hands. He was already much better than those successful men in their 30s or 40s. Therefore, Su Lin had always thought that Zhou Hao was an adult in his 20s. Zhou Hao said, I'm telling you the truth. As long as you ask around in Xiang City, you will still know about me. I'm still a student of Yining Middle School in Fragrant Sky City. I'm going to be promoted to the first year of high school this year. Su Lin was stunned when she saw Zhou Hao's serious expression. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. You are really only 16 years old? That's right. You are still an old cow eating tender grass. Zhou Hao said with a smile. When Su Lin heard Zhou Hao's words, she immediately became angry. She pounded his chest and said, You are the old cow eating tender grass. However, thinking about it, she was already 22 years old this year. She was 6 years older than Zhou Hao. She really had the feeling of an old cow eating young grass. Wait, Rulin seems to be the teacher of Yining Middle School. Then you. Sister Lan is our class's English teacher. Zhou Hao smiled and said, We are the modern version of Yanghua and Little Dragon Girl, but even Sister Lan's parents don't know about this. Don't tell anyone else? Su Lin blankly nodded her head, but she still did not recover from her shock, because this was too unbelievable. Especially when Zhou Hao was in Yangzhou, he had shown his ability and decisiveness. He was a true adult man. None of them could compare to him. Furthermore, Zhou Hao's body did not look like an ordinary young man at all. Thinking about what happened on Su Jinxing's yacht during the day, Su Lin's face was still red. You are really a small person. Su Lin glanced at Zhou Hao. All right. Just don't treat me like a child. If I didn't say it out loud, wouldn't you know that I'm only 16 years old? Zhou Hao hugged Su Lin and kissed her hard on the lips. I really can't do anything to you. Su Lin felt that Zhou Hao really showed a trace of childish anger at the moment. While Zhou Hao was enjoying his gentleness, Enai Yongxiao suddenly received a call from Fang Bingrun. Enai Yongxiao was in his own territory, in a large nightclub. At this time, he was in a separate suite, lying on the bed in the middle. His whole body was not hanging up, showing that he was not strong but covered in scars. He used another way to tell Fang Bingrun about his tough life in the underworld. A young woman wearing jeans and a yellow short-sleeved t-shirt stood by the bed, massaging Enai Yongxiao's back skillfully. This woman had a nice figure and pretty looks. She also had a stubborn look on her face. Shufan, how long have you been here? Enai Yongxiao rested his face on his arm. Almost 3 years, the girl called Shu Feng said. Enai Yongxiao did not open his eyes. He asked faintly, Do you still want to go back to your hometown in the mainland? Shufan shook her head. The countryside is too poor. If I did not escape, my father would have sold me long ago. Shufan was from Jiangxi. 3 years ago, she smuggled herself from China to Hong Kong, but was sold to Hong Kong's prostitution company by Snakehead. She refused to prostitution and was almost raped by the prostitution company. At that time, Enai Yongxiao happened to take over that area and met Shufan by chance. He also had some appreciation for this woman's stubbornness, so he asked her to go to one of his nightclubs to massage Miss Shu. At that time, Enai Yongxiao's position in the Union Society was already very high. With him taking care of her, no one would dare to let the young lady do other services. 2. Shufan carefully gave Enai Yongxiao a massage. When her hand touched the scars on his body, there would always be some heartache and gentleness in the corners of her eyes. She admired this man and was also a little afraid. Once, she saw with her own eyes that he cut off the right palm of a subordinate who misappropriated the club's funds without even blinking. She had never forgotten that kind of ruthlessness. Without saying anything, Enai Yongxiao took the initiative to bend down. Enai Yongxiao let out a slight sigh. He gently stroked Shufan's hair with his right hand and said slowly, After I have settled my seat, I will marry you. Shufan's body trembled and tears appeared in her eyes. However, she slightly turned her face away so that Enai Yongxiao could not see her. 3 years ago, after Enai Yongxiao rescued her from the Devil Cave, she had given her pure body to him. Until now, she had already known that Enai Yongxiao did not only have one woman. However, she did not know what kind of feelings Enai Yongxiao had for her, because Enai Yongxiao was not a man who was used to revealing his feelings to others. But now, he actually said that he wanted to marry her. This made Shufan very excited. She was even happier than when he helped her obtain permanent residence rights in Hong Kong. Although Shufan turned her face away, and Ai Yongxiao still saw the tears that flashed in the corners of her eyes. He liked this woman. Although she was not as beautiful as the other women, and she did not know how to act like a spoiled child like the other women, she would not let him buy her things like the other women did. From the beginning to the end, she only cared about herself silently. When she was sick, she was always the first to deliver the medicine. When she was hungry, she would always think of the Jiangxi snacks she made. And Ai Yongxiao knew in his heart that there were so many women around him, and only this one in front of him could accompany him throughout his life. Just as Ai Yongxiao was enjoying Shufan's gentleness, the phone in his clothes rang. Shufan went over to him and gave him the phone. Then, she lowered her head and waited for him. Fang Bingruan's voice came through the phone. Lian Hu, come over immediately. I have something urgent to talk to you about. Now. And Ai Yongxiao looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 3:30 in the morning. He put it on the phone and said, That's right, now is the time. It's an urgent matter. Come over immediately. Then he hung up the phone. After putting down the phone, Ai Yongxiao frowned. He did not understand why Fang Bingrun was in such a hurry to find him. Shufan raised her head and asked, Do you want to go out?
Yes.
Ai Yongxiao nodded. Shufan went over and took his clothes and waited for him to put them on. Ai Yongxiao said to her, You can go back first. You don't have to wait for me to come back. Although he told her that, Ai Yongxiao also knew that Shufan would wait for him to go back every time. If it was an all-nighter, she would even prepare porridge for breakfast. After leaving the nightclub, Ai Yongxiao drove his car towards Fang Bingruan's house. There would always be more than 10 bodyguards guarding Fang Bingruan's villa, but today, there were only 3 of them. Fang Bingrun was also watching the football match in the spacious living room, muttering something to himself. F***CK, the Manko League is going to lose again, but our outer game is going to be big. Hee hee.
Godfather.
Ai Yongxiao greeted Fang Bingrun with a smile after he entered the room with one of Fang Bingruan's subordinates. Fang Bingrun waved his hand and the bodyguard left. Only Ai Yongxiao and him were left in the living room. Fang Bingrun walked over and sat on the other sofa next to Fang Bingrun. Godfather, why did you call me here so late at night? What's the matter? Just tell me over the phone. I'll do it for you. Fang Bingrun did not answer Ai Yongxiao directly. Instead, he pointed at the 2 teams on TV. Tell me, how many years has it been? When can the United Government not disappoint us? Do you know how many people in Hong Kong have lost money because of it? It's really a trash team, but it's also because of this that we can earn so much money. Fang Bingruan's fat face was full of a sinister smile. Honestly speaking, even if it's a celebrity football team like the United Government and the Imperial City, there are also people controlling them behind the scenes. If they win, then they win. If they lose, then they lose. Every year, the championship of the championship should be given to them. Ai Yongxiao didn't understand why Fang Bingrun would suddenly say these words, but he heard Fang Bingrun say it again. Lian Hu, do you know how much money those gambling companies that control European teams make every year? Tens of billions, and it's still US dollars. What about us? The few big clubs in Hong Kong added up can only earn a few billion HKD in the periphery. TSK, although Hong Kong is good, it's just a small place after all. He suddenly sighed. A dragon swimming in shallow water. To think that Xiang Huaqiang, Enlongji and the others would fight to the death for small benefits like chicken food. They are really looking at the sky from the bottom of a well. At this moment, Ai Yongxiao actually saw the aura of a young man who was over 50 years old. Lian Hu, why did you betray me? Fang Bingrun suddenly changed the topic without any warning. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Ai Yongxiao. What? Ai Yongxiao was shocked for a second and immediately said, Godfather, what did you say? When did I betray you? You still said you didn't. Fang Bingrun didn't have a smile on his face. Instead, he released a violent aura. Your subordinate, Tony, has already told me. Shouldn't you have said no? For the sake of you following me for so many years, as long as you confess, I can let you live. Godfather, what are you talking about? And that Tony, what is he talking about? Ai Yongxiao immediately denied it, but at the same time, he started to guess. Did he find out about what happened between Zhou and me? Or did he find out that I sent someone to follow him last time? That's impossible. That phone has already gone to Thailand. No one should be able to find him. Fang Bingrun took out a pistol from under the cushion of the sofa he was sitting on. What was he talking about? Without saying anything, he shot Ai Yongxiao in the left shoulder. Bang! The bullet was very powerful. It pierced through Ai Yongxiao's shoulder in an instant, and blood gushed out from the 2 wounds on Ai Yongxiao's shoulder. Ai Yongxiao grunted and immediately pressed his right hand on the wound. However, the gun in Fong Bingruin's hand was still pressed against his forehead. With a ferocious expression, he said, "I just shot you in the shoulder. If you continue to be so stubborn, I will blow your head off." Cold sweat flowed down from Inai Yongxiao's head. It was not only because of the pain on his shoulder, but also because he really felt that his life was in danger. He kept thinking in his heart, could it be that Fong Bingrun really knows? F***CKU. Tell me, why did you betray me? Fong Bingrun grabbed Inai Yongxiao's collar and opened the safety of the pistol on his forehead. If he really knew, he wouldn't have given me the chance to confess. He would have killed me long ago. But if... Inai Yongxiao weighed the pros and cons in his mind. Finally, he gritted his teeth and met Fong Bingruin's gaze without any fear. He slowly said, "Godfather, I didn't betray you. If you don't believe me, then shoot." After saying that, he raised his head and closed his eyes. He looked like he was ready to die. "Okay, Lian Hu, I was right about you." Fong Bingrun suddenly laughed, and at the same time moved his gun away. Inai Yongxiao pretended to be shocked and opened his eyes, but he heaved a long sigh in his heart. Seeing Inai Yongxiao's confused face, Fong Bingrun smiled and said, "Because of that little B***starred Inai Yongxiao, I can't believe anyone anymore. That's why I want to try you. But you really didn't disappoint me. You are indeed worthy of my trust." The Inai Yongxiao he spoke of was a Mo Zhenxing, who had died because of Inai Yongxiao and Zhou Hao's plan. Inai Yongxiao thought to himself. Fortunately, he had held back from admitting it. Otherwise, he would have really fallen into this old fox's hands. However, his face deliberately revealed an angry expression. "Godfather, if you don't believe me, you can kill me and kick me out of the club. If you're like this, Fong Bingrun quickly said, "Lian Hu, you have to understand my godfather's painstaking efforts. That B***starred Inai Yongxiao has really hurt me. I still have lingering fears. But don't worry, as long as you continue to follow my godfather in the future, I dare say that we will definitely rush out of Hong Kong and create a wider world. Lian Hu, you are still so young. I guarantee that your future will be limitless." After hearing Fong Bingruin's words, Inai Yongxiao's anger slowly eased up. However, due to the large amount of bleeding from his wound, his face quickly turned pale, and he even felt a little dizzy. Seeing that Inai Yongxiao's wobbling steps were unstable, Fong Bingrun immediately shouted, "Doctor, where's the doctor? Didn't I tell him to prepare it earlier? Why hasn't he come yet?" Under the treatment and bandaging of a doctor who specialized in service of the Alliance, Inai Yongxiao's injuries quickly stabilized. Fong Bingrun also said to him, "Lian Hu, you go back and recuperate first. A few days later, Godfather wants you to do something. As long as that matter is settled, we won't have to bow down in this small Hong Kong place anymore." After leaving Fong Bingruin's residence, Inai Yongxiao returned to Shufin's residence, a separate unit. Sure enough, Shufin was still waiting for him to return. When she saw him return with a pale face, Shufin immediately helped him into the room nervously. When she saw the bandages on his body, Shufin became even more anxious. It wasn't that Inai Yongxiao had never been injured before, but every time she saw him injured, Shufin would always be frightened. "Lian Hu, what happened? Who injured you?" Shufin asked with concern. Inai Yongxiao waved his hand. "Don't worry. I'm fine. Don't tell anyone about my injury, understand?" Shufin quickly agreed and helped Inai Yongxiao to his room to lie down. Inai Yongxiao laid on the bed and thought about what Fong Bingrun wanted him to do. Also, what did he mean when he said that he would no longer have to bow in Hong Kong? He thought for a long time and still had no idea. He was tired because he had lost a lot of blood. He fell asleep in a daze. Sunlight shone in through the window, and the room seemed to be covered in a layer of gold. Zhou Hao slowly opened his eyes and saw the clear blue sky outside. He looked down and saw that Su Lin was still in his arms like a cat. Although she was still in a dream, the corners of her lips were slightly curled up, revealing two cute dimples. Clearly, she was having a beautiful dream. She affectionately kissed her smooth forehead, but the phone on the bedside table suddenly rang. The ear-piercing ringtone completely destroyed the silence in the morning, and at the same time, woke Su Lin, who was still sleeping. Su Lin pouted her pink lips and even twisted her lips to express her dissatisfaction. Zhou Hao hurriedly picked up the phone to his ear and said in an unfriendly tone, "Who is it?" At the same time, he patted Su Lin's back and let her continue sleeping. Really? Are you all right?" Zhou Hao frowned, then said, "It's good that you're all right. D***minute, that old pig is too cruel. But after this, you should be able to gain his trust. It's indeed very strange. All right, Let's see what he wants you to do in a few days, then you can send me a message. Okay, that's all. You should also take good care of your injuries. After ending the call, Su Lin, who was in her arms, asked Zhou Hao, so early in the morning. Who is it? No, it is just a friend. Zhou Hao smiled. Zhou Hao immediately reacted when he saw Su Lin's lazy flirtation in the morning and her seductive body under the blanket. Su Lin, who had sensed it, immediately rolled her eyes at him. Others are right. Men are really animals with lower bodies. On this day, Zhou Hao went to TV City to see Liang Xiaobing. After a few days of rest and Zhou Hao's meticulous care, Liang Xiaobing's injuries had already healed. Previously, Zhang Lizhi had said that he would not let Liang Xiaobing film any television series for 2 months to let her rest and rest. Liang Xiaobing also took advantage of this period of time to take on some advertisements. Although most of the profits had to be given to TVB, shooting more advertisements could increase her own reputation. Furthermore, it was not as tiring as filming a television series, so Liang Xiaobing was very happy to do so. As many advertisements were brought back by TVB, those advertising companies simply borrowed the television city's setting to film. Zhou Hao drove the Porsche to the television city. The guard at the gate already recognized him and nodded to greet him from afar. After putting the car away, Zhou Hao went straight to the fourth factory where Liang Xiaobing was. He saw Liang Xiaobing wearing a white floral dress with red stripes. In addition to Liang Xiaobing's healthy appearance, she looked very lively and cute. She was also holding a bottle of Chu Chanshi distilled water in her hand, making all kinds of smiles towards the camera. Liang Xiaobing, who was standing in front of the canvas board, smiled even more brightly when she saw Zhou Hao. There was even a sweet spring feeling between her brows. When the photographer saw Liang Xiaobing smile, he immediately shouted excitedly, "That's right, that's right." That was the smile. Xiaobing maintained that smile. Great, this is the kind of smile. As she spoke, she kept fiddling with the camera in front of her and used the camera to capture Liang Xiaobing's graceful figure. Zhou Hao, on the other hand, quietly watched Liang Xiaobing from the side. His face was overflowing with a smile and did not startle anyone. After a full hour of filming, this advertisement was finally completed. Along the way, Liang Xiaobing also changed into a few different sets of clothes to display different appearances. After the camera came down, Liang Xiaobing immediately walked towards Zhou Hao. The surrounding staff members who were watching her also followed her and discovered Zhou Hao. "Are you tired?" When Liang Xiaobing came in front of him, Zhou Hao asked with a smile. At the same time, he took out a tissue to print the sweat on Liang Xiaobing's forehead. Liang Xiaobing enjoyed Zhou Hao's consideration and her cheeks were slightly red. She felt very sweet in her heart, but when she noticed the surprised gazes of the people around her, she seemed to be a little shy. After all, in the eyes of others, she was still single. She did not even have a scandal boyfriend. Zhou Hao did not really care about the gazes of the people around him. Liang Xiaobing was his woman. Did he need to worry about the feelings of others if he cared about her? Furthermore, letting Liang Xiaobing spread some rumors could also increase her reputation. Didn't Wireless Television Limited often deliberately create rumors for the artistes under their banner? It was to create hype for the artistes. It was just that he didn't want those reporters to poach him. Zhou Hao didn't want those paparazzi gossiping about him. "Zhou Hao, you're here?" Wang Weiwen jogged over from the other side and said to Zhou Hao with some resentment, "You have not looked for me for a few days. Do you think I am your friend?" Zhou Hao smiled and said, "This is all because you are busy. Every time I go to Xiaobing's house, I want to visit you, but you are not at home." These few days when he went to Liang Xiaobing's house to take care of her, he also wanted to go downstairs to see Wang Weiwen. Although Wang Weiwen's sexual orientation made Zhou Hao somewhat afraid, apart from that, Wang Weiwen was also a friend worth dating. Wang Weiwen crossed his arms and said, "It's all because of Xiaobing. These days, in order to help her take on advertisements, I have almost gone to all of Hong Kong's 9 dragons." Actually, Liang Xiaobing only told Wang Weiwen about Liang Xiaobing and Zhou Hao because Wang Weiwen was her best friend. After Wang Weiwen knew about Liang Xiaobing and Zhou Hao, he was also sad for a long time because he liked Zhou Hao very much. Unfortunately, Zhou Hao was not the same person as him. There was no such possibility. However, seeing Liang Xiaobing so happy, he was also very happy as a friend. He silently blessed the two of them in his heart. "Oh right, Xiaobing, why haven't you signed a contract with the company yet? Didn't you already make a deal with Sister Jin?" Wang Weiwen said. Liang Xiaobing was stunned. "What? How could that be? I just officially renewed the contract with Sister Jean the day before yesterday. The contract period is 3 years. Wang Weiwen asked doubtfully. "That's strange. They didn't take the contract to me. Because he was Liang Xiaobing's manager, it was equivalent to a bridge between the Wireless Television Limited and Liang Xiaobing. Liang Xiaobing's contract with the Wireless Television Limited should be backed up by him. He said, "It's all right. I will ask Sister Zhen later." Liang Xiaobing also cared about this matter. With Zhou Hao by her side, her mood would be better than any other time. She said to Zhou Hao, "It's almost noon. I'm hungry. Where are we going to eat? Didn't you say yesterday that you want to go to a Thai restaurant to have a taste? We will just eat Thai food today." Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Wei Wen, do you want to go with us?" Wang Wei Wen smiled.